Car Search, presented by Kleenex Toilet Tissue, 6:30 tonight on 10.
Well, now we're back here at the ground in preparation for the big game today, and the one between Williamstown and Preston. Everything is in readiness. The banners are coming out. The coaches will be talked to in a few moments. But right at this stage, we would welcome back from overseas, from Scotland, from all places in Europe, and from the top sporting arenas of Europe, Bruce McAvaney.
It's lovely to be back here at the Junction Oval, Phil, and I think I've come back for a very good game, Williamstown and Preston.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a good game. Williamstown showed their mettle last week against Sandringham at Sandringham. They played very well indeed, and Preston, of course, went down while you were away to Coburg. They annihilated them, but then came out and beat Port Melbourne. So both teams are at nearly top strength here today.
And both have got good followings, and we saw how well Williamstown played last year in the final series, and the year before how well Preston played. So they're really proven finalists, and we should have a great game.
All right, we have Gary Bryce here with us, with Phil Cleary from the Coburg side. First of all, over to you, Gary. Your impressions about today's game?
Well, I think that I'd favour Williamstown today. I think that the conditions with their marking power should be an advantage for them. They're round the ground players, their running players are quite good, but I feel that the Preston running players are just that little bit better. They do have slightly more experience. A lot of their players have played in a premiership side, so they have that advantage over Williamstown, but I'm expecting, with the experience of guys like Barry Round and Terry Wheeler, I think they'll just have the edge on the day.
Well, Gary Bryce phoned me through the week to ask if it would be possible to put Phil Cleary on this afternoon, being the good friends they are. So it's good to see you along today.
Yeah,
Phil.
nice being here with Gary, an old pal from old days when we used to blue on the down at the Port Melbourne ground. Actually, we used to say terrible things to each other.
Well, I can remember in one grand final when you ran or tried to run right through him, didn't you?
Yes, and one of those blind blokes in the white gave him a free kick, and he kicked a goal. I wasn't too happy about it, and we've had a love affair since then. But I've always thought that Phil was fairly well protected by the umpires, but he used to get away with some quite horrific tasks. He used to put a few of our players out of business with a very sharp forearm. I wonder whether he's filed it down at all over the last few years.
I'm a bit too old for the forearm these days.
Right, Phil, about today's game. You've played both teams, of course. Who would you select?
Well, the funny thing is, I think Williamstown to me look better balanced. I think, as Gary said, they have got the big man power. I think that's going to be very important today. But it surprises me really that Preston have beaten them twice, and I think a lot of it will hinge on the battle between Jordan and Kershaw in the ruck. I think Jordan will have to do very, very well for Preston to have a chance and to bring the small players into the game. But if the Preston small players get a bit of a run on, Preston could be very dangerous.
Barry Round played a big part last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a very good player. I mean, a lot of experience. I mean, I reckon it'll be very interesting to see how Barry Round goes. You know, I mean, he's probably around about, what would he be, Gary, the 35 mark, 36?
Age, isn't he?
35 going on 40.
He's got a couple of years on me. But it'll be interesting to see how he goes in this VFA final. I mean, it's a great day.
So you think Williamstown will win it?
I think they've got the edge.
Gary?
Yes, well, I've stated Williamstown. What are you going for, Phil?
I'm going for Williamstown. I think they'll win the premiership.
I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. But anyway, all the best to them.
OK, and Bruce?
Well, it's a bit hard.
Being away, of course, it'll be a bit difficult.
They look the best team to me at the moment. It could be a Coburg-Williamstown grand final by the look of it.
All right, well, let's now move down to the dressing rooms and to Tony Banks. And I think at this stage he'll be talking with Peter Waitman.
In the Preston rooms, the sign says we've come here to win, so let's do it. Coach Peter Waitman, obviously you're confident. You've got to be, I guess, in a finals game.
Oh, no doubt. I think our side's good enough to win today.
What are you going to do to overcome the big players in Round and Kershaw? Obviously something you've done twice this year.
Well, I think Phil Cleary summed it up pretty well in the paper this morning. He said that it's a bit of a David Goliath. Williamstown are Goliath and Preston's David, and he won on the day, so why shouldn't we?
Well, you were a fancy little rover when you played, so you've obviously passed on a bit of your skills to your smaller players, and they've got the job in front of them.
Oh, they're much better players than I am. No doubt about that. I just told them to do all the things that I couldn't do.
Well, you've beaten Williamstown by, 39 points and 67 points, so two big wins against them. Obviously, you've got your plans worked out and are confident of doing it again.
No doubt. I mean, both sides have got two different styles of play and two different patterns of play, and it's going to be a matter of the side that wants to win the most in these games and wants to get their game going. You know, it's going to take a lot of courage and a lot of endeavour, but you know, as I say, I think Preston will come out on top.
Pete, if there's one criticism of the Preston side, and it's made by a lot of people, it's that they're not physical enough when the hard stuff happens.
Oh, that may have come from last season, but I don't consider that the case this year. We've won quite a few hard games in the wet. Port Melbourne a couple of weeks ago and some games earlier in the season. So, in fact, everybody's been saying they prefer it to be dry. I don't think it matters. I think the bigger blokes might have more problems if it's wet.
Now, before we go to the dressing rooms to talk with Terry Wilkinson, let's take you over to Ian Gibbs. And Ian, if you can just give us a look at the ladder as they finished up at the end of the season.
Right, the final four finished up with Coburg on top with 15 wins and 3 losses. Frankston 13 wins and 5. Now, so far as today's concerned, it should be a good game. Both Williamstown and Preston finished the season with 12 wins and 6 losses. The most interesting statistic for the game is the fact that during the course of the season, Williamstown have not defeated one of the 3 teams that are above them in the final 4. So far as the 2 times the teams met during the course of the season, in the first round, Preston had a 61-point victory over Williamstown, 21-11-137, Williamstown 11-10-76. So far as the second round is concerned, Preston once again had a 39-point victory, Williamstown 7-17-59, Preston 14-14-98.
All right, and now let's move down to the Williamstown rooms with Terry Wheeler talking with Tony Banks.
The Williamstown rooms and Terry Wheeler, the coach of Williamstown. Boys are very towy. You've had the rock music going. They're bouncing up and down. They met out at the club and bust here to the Junction Oval. All keen to reverse the trend of losing the 2 games earlier this year.
Yeah, very big game for us, Tony. As you said, they've beaten us twice this year, and you know, we're leaving no stone unturned to try and reverse those results on Preston. And yeah, the feeling's pretty good here at the moment. I just hope we can keep it going on the ground.
What have you done then, you think, that can probably overcome the reasons why they have been able to curb your big players in Kershaw and Round?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a one thing on today. I think over the last 5 or 6 weeks we've started to get our game going a lot better. Preston was the second last loss we had. The only other loss we've had in the last 6 weeks has been against Frankston with 5 points. So, you know, our form steadily has been steadily improving.
Yeah. Put him on the bench. He can start on the bench. Okay, well, let's get back to it for a second there. A couple of smarties around. Might pay the dividends.
Yeah.
You've got everyone here fit, ready to go and raring to go.
Yes, we are. We've obviously there's no tomorrows after this game. This is the one we're here for. We lose this one, we're out of the ball game, and we're too good a side and too good a club to fold up here today, I think.
The last thing I said to Peter Waitman was about how physical Preston are. Do you think Williamstown are more physical and stronger than Preston?
Yeah, most certainly we are. But then again, Preston can be a lot quicker and a lot more skillful than us too. So it's a matter of who gets their game going first. And I think we're going to be pretty primed up to get our side of the game going well.
Thanks, Terry Wheeler.
Well, there we have the teams in their respective dressing rooms at the present time. Weather doesn't look all that bad at the moment. The forecast was earlier this morning for a few showers. But we'll have the official weather forecast coming up in just a few moments. The ground itself is in excellent condition for football. I was watching the second division game a moment ago, and they were holding the ground pretty well. Well, there's the official forecast. Cool and partly clouded. Expected showers, currently 13 degrees. Expected top is 14 degrees. But looking around this ground, you know, I was talking with Gary Bryce just before we came to air. It's amazing to me, Phil and Gary, that the league ever let this ground go when you look at the condition of the ground.
Yes, it's a beautiful ground. It's one of the best grounds that I've ever played on, and I think the surface is just, well, there's no better surface in football as far as I'm concerned, and for the league to let it go was just ridiculous.
All right, well, we'll be back right after this break.
Place you can get this free golden $50 bonus. It's Malcolm Reed of Burke Street during their 50th golden anniversary sale. Celebrate with 5 floors of anniversary savings, plus your golden $50 bonus on any purchase over $500. Big names, big reductions on the moderns, the traditionals, 5 floors packed with celebration savings. Don't miss this big event, Malcolm Reed's 50th golden anniversary sale. And don't miss your free golden $50 bonus.
Feel it. entice. Neapolitan, salt and pepper into spice. In the mood for something bold. Neapolitan's brass into gold. Come on, be daring. Isn't it time? Let Neapolitan that mouse into a lion.
Let's have a coffee. Oh, would you like Swiss, French or Vienna style?
Swiss.
Well, French. Then I'll have Vienna.
It's not too much trouble.
Why have ordinary coffee when you can now have the international flavour of Jarrah coffee mixes in an instant?
Coffee machine.
Jarrah instant coffee mixes. Turn your kettle into a coffee machine.
Delicious.
Thanks.
On Saturdays, Alex goes to work. Now, what can Bosch do for you this weekend?
Just repeating in the earlier game, Paran, 21-14, defeated Oakley 13-18. That was in the first semi-final. Not a bad crowd here today before the game commences between the Preston side and the Williamstown side. It won't be long before we have Williamstown coming out onto the ground. They will be first out today. And as we said earlier, it'll be interesting to see the various individual battles. But also, as was said, that Williamstown are a very well-balanced side and should perform pretty well. What do you think of the weaknesses in either side, Phil Cleary?
Well, I think that Preston's obvious weakness is they don't have a lot of big players, and they lost Brady suspended during the week, and I think that'll be quite vital to them. But Williamstown's maybe one weakness they do have is a little bit of lacking in pace.
Yeah, when you say they lost Brady, they've got Salvador back, and he's been out for some time, and he's one of their instigators, particularly from the centre area, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's 5'9", whereas Brady's 6'3" or 2. You know, they really needed that bit of height, and they just haven't got it.
All right, we're waiting on the Williamstown side to make their appearance, and it's the goals to victory as they come out onto the ground. Terry Wheeler leading them. They're about to move through the banner. And there's Williamstown, who did so very well last year, right through to the grand final from the same position, and only lost out, I'd say, Bruce, if you remember it, on an umpire's decision.
Gee, you've got a better memory than me, Phil. It was a terrific game, wasn't it? Remember, Rickman kicked those long goals in the last quarter, but umpire's decision, I have to think about that, Gibbs.
Well, if you think about it, he either took a mark or was held, but there was no decision made at all.
I'll have a look at the replay
Remember the full forward
tonight.
last year?
Your memory is really good. They talk about...
Well, as you get older, you see.
I was going to say something else, but I won't mention... what's that animal that's got the really good memory? No, I couldn't mention that, Phil.
But also, when you get older, that's all you have is memories, isn't it?
Quite right, Gary Bryce. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'll guarantee a few of my friends around town will have a smile. Anyway...
Gee, Phil, I like that. Bryce, he's come through in the last 4 weeks, hasn't he?
Yes, well, Brycey has been a good commentator until today, and Phil Cleary will be taking over in the next few weeks. As you know, they're very good mates, don't you, Bruce?
Well, they're sitting together and holding hands. It's most unusual. I haven't seen that in a commentary team before.
Well, they'll get going as the match goes on, I can assure you. We'll be going down to Tony Banks fairly soon. He'll take the toss of the coin. The umpires are yet to make their appearance on the ground, and as I mentioned earlier, the field umpires for today, Graham Casey, who's been 3 years with the VFA, and Graham Marcy 9 years with the VFA. Just looking around
I was going to ask
for
Phil
the flags
Cleary,
that are not flying here at the present time to see if we have any wind advantage. Looking down on the ground, you can see the flags with the kids there, and it's blowing towards the Fitzroy Street end of the ground from the lake end of the ground. Now waiting on Preston to make their appearance, and we should see a top-class game here today. A couple of the Williamstown players having a shot for goal. Anyway, let's have a look at the sides as selected, and first of all we'll look at Williamstown, And there's been quite a few changes in the Williamstown side. Let's have a look at them, Bruce.
Phil, they line up from the back line, DiMartino, Wheeler and Brearity, but I think Wheeler will probably play at half-back. Owen, Murphy and Pastore, Sleverson in the centre, Knight, Round, Smith, Fotheringham, Kale, Rickman. Well, that won't be right. Kale won't be at full forward. Kershaw, Matackett, Sate. Here come Preston.
Yes, and Preston now coming out onto the ground. Last time we played for points, we won. This time we play for the cup and we'll win. Right, there it is as they break the banner, and now let's go back to the teams.
I'd forget that team we saw up there, Phil. They won't line up like that.
No, that was the team as selected on Thursday night, and we're just giving the corrections on it.
You'll find that Owen will play in the centre, especially if Salvador plays there, and that Fotheringham will be at full forward and Gibson will drop out. Now for Preston, Dunbar is out of the team. It's Brown, White and Perry, Charisau, Tau, and that should read, and Prideaux. Salvador will play in the centre, which means that Owen will play on him and McTaggart will go to a back pocket. Frost, Plowman and Carlson. So Plowman will be at centre half forward. Carlson into the team. Hunt, Shaw, Limachisi, Jordan, Bryan and Watt roving. And Lawson, Kalesia, the interchange. So Dunbar's out of the team. He's injured. So Gibson out for Williamstown and Dunbar out for Preston.
Right, and the umpires are making their circuit of the ground. The warm-up circuit, Graham Casey, 3 years with the VFA. And the red-headed one there is Graham Marcy, who's been 9 years with the VFA. Boundary umpires, Con Demopoulos, 5 years, and John Summers, 5 years. And the goal umpires, Ian Robinson and Barry Carmichael. Won't be long before they clear the ground, and then we'll be taking it down to Tony Banks. I don't know whether Tony will endeavour to talk with the umpires, but we've been banned, Phil Cleary, from talking to umpires these days. I thought it wasn't a bad idea for VFA football.
I don't think there's much point in talking to umpires, really, Phil. They don't tell you that much, do they?
Well, I've seen you talking to them plenty of times.
I don't get the right answers, though.
Well, I don't know whether Tony Banks got the right answers in the Preston-Port Melbourne game. He had quite a yarn with them there. And quite frankly, I can't see any problem with what umpires say and how it can affect a match with what they say before and during the game. We remind you that the best player today will receive the Mitsubishi Award, and this is it, the beautiful tankard as supplied by Mitsubishi, and that will be awarded to the best player of the day, as it was to the best player on the ground in the first semi-final between Paran and Oakley. An award worth winning.
Phil, I'd be interested in Gary and Phil's thoughts on the two full forwards, different types of players, Fotheringham and also Shaw. Probably the two most successful full forwards over the last 3 or 4 years. Firstly, Gary, do you have a preference for either style?
No, I think they are contrasting styles and therefore they're a little bit hard to compare, but they have both been great full forwards, particularly Fotheringham. He's got a record over an almost a decade in VFA football. He's been an outstanding full forward, relies on his marking but leads very well and is a very accurate kick. Shaw relies more on his marking than his ground play. Fotheringham probably a little bit better on the ground, but they're both excellent marks. Shaw relies on his height a great deal and also a very accurate kick.
And Phil, as an opposing coach, who's worried you the most over the years?
I think they're both really good players. I like Shawry because he's got that northern suburbans larrikin look about him, so that always appeals to me.
Right, and now down to Tony Banks.
Thanks, Phil. About to do the toss now as umpire Graham Marcy, with Bryan and Wick. Heads. Preston win the toss, kick with a breeze in the first quarter. Graham Marcy, you're allowed to talk to us for a few seconds.
Yes, Tony. I think we're in for another good game today. It's been a great season this year, and I think this is one of the best seasons the VFA is going to have in the finals. It made the best team win today.
Good. Now, you're not puffed of a jog out around the place? I notice your mate, he's puffing a bit. He said he was a bit tired, couldn't talk to us.
Oh, well, I'll have to look after him. I'll carry him again as usual.
Good on you, Graham. Thanks very much. Graham Marcy.
All right, and I can't see anything wrong with umpires making comments such as that before a game. And thank you to Graham Marcy. Now, with the big tennis going on today, that's the McDonald's Cup. In the girls' doubles, USA versus Australia. USA leading at the moment in the first set, 6-4. Right, players are taking up their positions now for the first semi-final in First Division of VFA football. Jamie Shaw moving to the right of the screen, or he will. And that's the Fitzroy Street end, and that's the end to which the breeze is blowing here And looking to the far side of the ground, the big palm trees out there usually gives us a good guide, and the breeze is rather strong. And I've just been informed in the junior tennis they only have the one set, so 6-4 is the winning a winning score. That's quick, Bruce, isn't it? One set.
You'd want to get away to a good start. Boris, how'd you like to be playing Boris Becker and he gets a few first serves in? You'd be in trouble. You'd all over fairly quickly.
Did you see him in the Nationals?
Oh, he's fantastic, isn't he?
You know, the last match he won, he was just boom.
In the
boom.
US, yeah, the US Open.
US Open. It was a great opening to it. I'll tell you what, Mr. McEnroe's in trouble too, isn't he?
Struggling a bit. How the mighty can fall sometimes, but let's hope he comes back because he's a magnificent player.
I'll tell you what, though, there'd be a lot looking for him, Phil.
I wouldn't like to coach him.
How would you like to coach him, Gary?
I think he'd be out of the side more than in it.
Right. Well, now we have the field umpire getting ready to come in for the bounce. Umpire Casey. Ruckman setting themselves, and the big player Kershaw lurking around the outside of the circle will come in from a long run up, and there we are. And it's Jordan getting the first knockout from the ruck, and Preston into attack as it goes up towards the half-forward line. Racing across field is Brighty, and Brighty coming in from that defensive position for Williamstown, puts it to the wing on the outer side of the ground, where we'll see a throw-in affected. Now it'll be, it must have gone out on the full, so it'll be a free kick Williamstown's way. No, it is going to be a throw-in. They're indicating a free. Some of the players were calling for it as they move in. No one able to trap the ball, but the umpires picked a free kick out of it. It will go Preston's way, and it appears as though it will be, is it Jordan going back for it? Yes. The ruckman on the wing on the outer side of the ground. So Jordan now looking for a lead up near centre half forward. Players move into it, no one able to take the mark, and coming here in defence is Murphy. Murphy gets it into the centre of the ground, tapped down by Knight, and racing after it is Cale. Cale is still trying to get in there, dribbled off the ground by Sleverson, and here's the opportunity for Prideaux to defend. He gets it out here to the flank, and moving away with it now is Frost. Frost up towards the half-forward line. There's Jamie Shaw coming out, overrunning the ball, but battles on. Handballs are back towards Carlson, but forced over the line and out of bounds by McTaggart of Williamstown. So McTaggart down in the right forward pocket. Moves back into his position, and the ball put back into play. Up go the ruckman, reaching up over the top was Plowman. He got it down towards his opposite in McTaggart. McTaggart out wide to Murphy. Murphy goes for the long kick into the centre, and nearly a one-handed mark taken here by Sleverson. He gets a hand pass in, but it doesn't come off. And let's see what happens here. The umpire's called play on. Dribbled out here by Plowman. Comes into the hands of Sate. Sate goes for the hand pass wide over towards Brighty. Brighty goes for the long kick downfield. Moving in here is White of Preston. He had the ball in front of him, but he's got a free kick, and the umpire will now allow him to play on, to put it up towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. Hunt is the player to come in and take the mark for Preston. Hunt plays it across field towards the centre half-forward zone. Punched away from Lamachisi, goes into the hands of Sleverson. Sleverson in turn puts Williamstown into attack towards the centre-forward zone. And here's the opportunity for Rickman now to race away, but held the ball, and the free kick will go against him. It'll be Perry to take the free. Perry of Preston now coming up to centre half-back. Plays it out towards the wing on the stand side of the ground. Player tripped himself there. That was Watt, and it comes down to Sate. Sate of Williamstown towards the half-forward line, and just dribbled over the line and out of bounds. Throw in to take place. No score as yet, and they've been playing 3 minutes into the first term. Ruckman move up to it again. Barry Round is going up, and the ruck tapped it right back over his shoulder, down in towards Charisu. Charisu, though, scouting around the pack now, couldn't get in there, and dragging up off the ground is Brown, but it will be a ball up. No one able to score as yet. Rather quiet opening to the first semi-final here at the Junction Oval. Round gets the knockout from the ruck. Pursuing the ball is Carlson. Carlson now left foots it right across the face of the big sticks, but puts it right into the hands of Bryan. Bryan of Preston with his kick in towards the centre of the ground. Coming up to meet it is Murphy. Murphy couldn't handle it. Ramachisi comes into it now for Preston. Short pass to Jamie Shaw, and Shaw has marked wide of centre half forward at the Fitzroy Street end of the ground. So Jamie Shaw has the chance of the first score, 4 minutes after the commencement of play. And here goes the ritual, putting the ball on the ground, pulling up the sock, wiping the boot. And he's kicked so far, Ian.
135 for the season.
He's about 45 metres out from goal. Puts it on its way. Goal umpire staying there, and it's the first score. 4 points on the board. Preston 1 goal, and Williamstown have yet to score. Let's have comments from Gary and Phil.
Yes, well, I think Preston seem to have gained their composure a lot quicker than Williamstown, who seem to be not able to get it past their half-forward line. Preston are running the ball very well, and it's something that Williamstown will have to look at.
Yeah, the little small players, Limachese, etc., I think they're going to be very important today.
It was a great tackle by Perry on Rickman, Phil. That was an important one too, because Rickman's such a deadly kick.
Beautiful.
So Jordan and Kershaw in the centre again. Kershaw with the height advantage to Knight. Knight playing at half-forward. Bryarty, who in fact was loose in defence earlier on in this term in the first 3 or 4 minutes, and picked up a kick, and it will be a ball in. So Preston lead by the 1 goal to Shaw. Good bit of football by Limachese too. So Kershaw and Jordan through Sate's legs. Owen with the ball. Owen's playing in the centre on Salvador as a checking roll, and Salvador takes a free kick for holding the ball. To centre half forward. Plowman in the front spot. Frost. Plowman again. Taken by Murphy. High kick towards centre wing, and Salvador underneath it takes the mark. Coming back from suspension, goes short to Prideaux. Now here's a chance. Shaw on a lead, but he goes short at a Plowman. Watt's in the hands of the trainer at centre half forward at the moment, but he should be all right. Had a few problems, Watt, getting into this game. There was an injury worry with him. Plowman about 45 metres out, left foot, drop punt, good kick. Might have just missed, he has, so it's a behind. So it's 1-1 to Preston, and they're doing pretty well, Gary. They've started well, and Williamstown yet to score.
Yes, very well. They're very composed. They seem to know exactly what they're doing.
Righto, and we've got the kick off now. It goes out towards the half-back line on the outer side of the ground. Moving away with it is Bryarty. Bryarty gets a further hand pass in, and we see coming down the field Owen to get it towards centre half forward, and we have Williamstown into attack through Knight. Knight up towards the right forward pocket. He was looking for Rickman there, who couldn't quite get to the ball and forced over the line and out of bounds. No, he's picked a free kick out of it as they went down in the pack, and this will be Brown of Preston who'll come out with it. So Brown now round the half-back line, outer side of the ground. Oh, what a ripper. The umpire hasn't allowed it, though, and now he's given a free kick for a push in the back. And this will be taken by the Williamstown player. We'll have a look at this replay as he goes up for that mark. It'll be Smith who went up for the mark, and Smith who'll take the free. He sends it towards centre half forward. No one able to take the big mark, and it will be a ball up. Centre half forward at the Williamstown end of the ground. That's the Lake end. 7 minutes of play gone in the first quarter on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. We have Preston 1-1. Williamstown have yet to score. They're finding difficulty as Perry got the ball, kicked it back into the pack, comes back to Knight, who shoots for goal, and Knight has put it through for Williamstown's first score.
For anybody who wants a few moments of peace on the way to a concert, or just enjoys a quiet conversation, Mitsubishi Magna is your car, superbly quiet, so you can hear every note, every word. Magna, a totally new class of quiet. From Mitsubishi, car maker of the year, again.
Well, Ian was just telling me that Williamstown haven't beaten anyone in the 4 so far, Gary, so they're about to start by the look of it.
It's surprising, but the way that Preston have started, it doesn't look as though at this stage they're going to win today.
Well, certainly Williamstown haven't started off the way they finished off last week. Now, here's little Sate getting possession. He plays it up towards the half-forward line. Perry rose very high, failed to take the mark. Coming out of it here is Rickman, who shoots it across, looking for Knight. Knight couldn't take the mark, and eventually we see coming out in defence for the Preston side is Prideaux. Prideaux puts it to the boundary line. It will be thrown back into play. Oh, Barry Round moving across in the ruck, and he'll come in from behind. He gets the tap down. Brown couldn't get away with the ball at all. It comes through towards Smith. Smith gets it down in the direction of Sleverson, who couldn't get away, and it will be thrown back into play again. On the forward line for Williamstown, the Mitsubishi scoreboard showing Preston 1-1. Williamstown 1 goal in a low-scoring game to the 9-minute mark. And it comes again, back over the heads of the pack. Kick off the ground by Sleverson, sees it go out towards Cale, but Knight also coming in there. Going down to the ground was Salvador, but it's forced now up towards the centre of the ground. Here is Cale coming into it, and Cale of Williamstown left foots it towards Barry Round. He failed to take the mark under pressure, but the umpire is blowing the whistle, indicating that there's a free kick to Round for a shove, and he'll get the free. He came up looking a little bit winded. Let's see what happened here with the replay of it. Oh yes, right into the chest, but I couldn't see whether that was a free kick.
Well, I think it was an infringement because Round almost had the mark and the other player was making no attempt.
All right, well, there it is on its way. It might drop the fraction short. It has. And look at the pack of players around there. No one able to get it away, and the umpire has decided to come in and break it up. Right on that last line of defence for Preston. He'll come a bit out from the goal line too, I would imagine. So there we go. And Round grabbed the ball on the bounce and put it through for full points. Good play.
Sail into your hardware store and you'll sail straight into the Stanley America's Cup $25,000 giveaway and a chance to share in $20,000 prize money. There are 4 fantastic prizes of $5,000 to be won simply by buying any Stanley tool that carries the boxing kangaroo. You'll also get a chance at the grand prize. A trip for 2 to see them race. Help keep the America's Cup in Australia where it belongs.
And on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, there you have it. Comments from our experts now on the way Barry Round did that.
Well, it's a typical Barry Round goal from that position. I think he's probably kicked over 50 goals in league football from that very position.
Yeah, I think Brycey and I would have both had our players ready for that one, actually, Phil.
Yes, it's a wonder they haven't woken up to it because he's renowned for that type of play. It's out of bounds again on the forward line for Williamstown, and they're starting to hold the ball into attack a little more at the 11-minute mark into the first term.
And they lead 2 goals to 1-1 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. 5 points in front. Round, who does the ruck work in the forward line. Great help to Kershaw. Knight with a left footer. Sate's got it. So Williamstown starting to exert itself after a slow start. It's a tremendous advantage to have Kershaw and Round, whereas Preston are really a little short in that area with just Jordan having to do all the work. And Sate about 30 metres out. Drop punt straight through, goal. So it's 3 goals to 1-1.
When the croak gets beyond a joke, try Allen's Butter Menthol. The butter soothes the throat, the menthol clears the head. Allen's Butter Menthol.
So Williamstown kicking into the breeze, worth a couple of goals, I'd guess, leading by 11 points on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Hunt trying to burst his way through, and it will be another ball up. Quiet start to this first semi-final. Preston's won both the clashes so far this season. And as Ian Gibbs said, Williamstown yet to win against a team in the 4, but we saw what they did last year after sneaking into the finals. Tapped on by Brighty, who's playing across half-back. Salvador and Bashut. Now Sate. Rovers doing well for Williamstown. Sate's drop punt is a very good one with his 4th kick. Fotheringham sets himself. White did well. Perry barges his way through. He's got a paddock in front of him. Second bounce. He really shouldn't run to the boundary line. He should run the corridor a little more. He's kicked to half forward. Frost has got 2 against him. Plowman down with Pastore. Wheeler almost collected Pastore. And the advantage given against Preston then. Be pretty disappointed with that, Phil.
Oh, definitely. Should have been the advantage rule.
So Plowman from the centre wing, left foot. He's usually a good kick. Shaw's on the lead. And takes a great mark. Gary, that was a strong performance.
Yes, great mark by Shaw. Fantastic effort. And a bit could have almost been upset by his own player there. Carlson should have stayed down.
Yes, he almost spoiled a very good bit of play there. So Shaw, who's a great kicker, as we know, 136 goals so far this year. Angle's difficult, as you can see. Got a good view of it from here. It's an important goal because Preston trailing with the use of whatever breeze there is. It may have died a fraction. It's a drop punt, of course. It's a good kick. It's a goal. And it's 2-1 to 3 goals.
Step right up, folks, for the amazing Kentucky Fried Chicken box offer. You get 11 pieces of delicious chicken for just $9.50.
Or even better, folks, step up for the incredible bucket offer. You get 16 pieces of delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken in a bucket for only $13.50.
And my box offer won't last long.
Neither will my bucket offer.
The box is better.
No, the bucket is better.
The box is better.
11 pieces in a box for $9.50 or 16 in a bucket for $13.50. Only from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What a delicious offer, Charlie.
Doubly delicious, Frederick.
And there's the bounce, and the umpire immediately blowing the whistle on the bounce, and the free kick has been awarded here to Jordan. He comes out, plays the ball out towards Lamachisi, who goes up, fails to take the mark, being tackled here, and but still playing on, does it well, gets out to the boundary line, keeps the ball in play, pushed by Murphy there, but it comes out towards Plowman. Plowman goes for the long kick for goal. Oh, bit close, but hit the post, and a minor score goes up for Preston on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. They're 2-2, 14 points to Williamstown's 3 goals. And congratulations to Mitsubishi too on their support of community football here in VFA football. There's Salvador being bumped aside. Looked to be bumped aside fairly easily. Picked up the ball, but the umpire has blown the whistle and he's given a free, and this will be taken by Owen. Owen of Williamstown now from the wing on the outer side of the ground. He'll go around the flanks. Barry Round has gone across there, and he's been able to tap the ball further afield to give the running players a chance, but eventually it'll end up down here with Perry. Perry's grabbed as he went to move the ball away, with White of Preston going in after it through the goal and behind post, and there's the first minor score up to Williamstown. Mitsubishi scoreboard reads 1 goal, 1 the difference. Williamstown 3-1, Preston 2-2.
I feel there was a terrible handball by Town. It took forever to get to Perry and put him under tremendous pressure.
Well, this is Lamachisi coming into it again. He gets a little shove. The umpire is indicating it is held. I thought he was pushed, but anyway, it's a free kick whichever way it goes. There's Terry Wheeler trying to hold up play to let his players pick up the forwards of the Preston side. Yes, Ian?
8 free kicks to Preston so far, 3 to Williamstown.
And coming in there was Plowman to take the big mark. Plowman just short of the half-forward line. Shaw indicating he'll lead into the pocket. It comes down towards that area. Oh, good mark by Shaw. Strong one there, Gary.
Great mark. He's taken 2 magnificent marks, both different marks. One that was a strength mark holding the player out. The one before was a magnificent high mark.
Well, you'll see the strength here.
Tremendous
He's
strength.
Playing a stronger type of football than we've seen in the
Normally we don't
last 2
see him
games.
trying to body players. I think that DiMartino may be a little bit too small for him. I'd be inclined to put Breardy over there straight away. I was surprised that he didn't line up on him in the first instance.
Well, he was selected in that area last week and didn't play, and was selected in the papers. But you can't believe what they print in the papers. I can't understand still why clubs select their sides on a Thursday night, or supposedly so, and have papers printed. All right, and there's the kick from Shaw. That's his 3rd for the game.
There's a kitchen with a problem. Dirty range, bench tops and microwave. Job for the grime squad. Windex kitchen shine. Strong solvents cut the grime. Easy, even smelt clean. New Windex kitchen shine. One of the grime squad.
Hey, what's got 3 hands, a grey face, and works in a band?
I don't know.
My Loris watch, silly.
Loris, the best time you can have for your money.
Well, there we have the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Williamstown 3-1, Preston now 3-2, only 1 point in it. And Preston now with a chance to get the ball into attack. Lamachisi coming across towards the stand wing. And he's got Wilkinson on a bit of a string at the moment. There's the short pass. Oh, bang, and the umpire has awarded the mark, and this will be taken by Watt. Watt now with Shaw coming in from behind this time, was unable to get around his opponent in Briarty, who threw one. That wasn't a sneaky one, Phil, was it? Wide open.
I just think of what a good judge Gary Bryce is. He had the move worked out about 3 minutes ago.
All right, and here's the kick now, going from Pastore out towards the half-forward line, and the chance for Preston to defend through Hunt. Hunt gets it in towards the centre. Now here's Wilkinson coming down, tapping it down to the ground, but it's White who comes up to trap the ball in defence for Preston. He plays it up towards Jamie Shaw. Yes, we'll pay that. And the umpire, no, is not paying the mark. He was saying he was held. So Jamie Shaw gets the free kick. Lamachisi moving down into a pocket, yelling out to Shaw, and he's got the pass all right. Now Lamachisi will go round him, in towards goal. He's accurate enough, and full points on the ball.
Oh, Jaffers.
Well, hi-ho, Silver, it's Jaffers time.
The nightcap balls that are just divine. Jaffers ain't flat, they're not even square. Whoa, Jaffers.
They're chocolatey balls with orange coating.
Roll around your mouth and keep on floating.
Shake those Jaffers round your big long tongue.
Making it sound like clunk, clunk,
So
clunk.
flippity-flip and hippity-hop. Roll your body down to a Jaffer shot, 'cause life's a ball with Jaffers, yeah. Life's a ball with Jaffers, yeah. Life's a ball.
Mitsubishi scoreboard 4-2 to 3-1. Preston lead by 7 points. Shaw with 3 goals and Lamachisi, and for the second time we've had an infringement in the square, but this time it goes to Sate and to Williamstown. White taps it away. Handball by Karasu. He's looking towards White. Kershaw, the big fellow, who hasn't had a big influence on the game so far, and holding the ball. Preston doing very well at centre half forward with Plowman, and also at full forward with Shaw. Now Jordan towards half forward. At the back, Plowman. Frost. Bit long. Knight, or rather it's Pastore towards half forward. Rickman played for a free kick and got away with it. Now, he's a prodigious kick, Rickman. He'll kick it long to the square if Fotheringham gives him the chance. Looking for a lead from Fothers. Now goes short. And at centre half forward, it's Sleverson. Ruck Rover, a follower, who likes to get out on his own. He's looking towards Smith, who likes to run and leap at the ball. Perry in the front spot. Couldn't take it. Lamachisi caught. Could be gone. Yes, holding the ball. Took too long. Kale got him. No advantage played here. Kale's left foot. Knight in the pocket. Williamstown working very hard. Knight goes backwards to Smith, and he should goal, and he has. So it's 4-1 to 4-2 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. A point the difference, and a goal there to Smith after some torrid build-up there, Gary. They really worked very hard to get that goal.
They had to work very hard. They made quite a few mistakes trying to play on when they really should have just contained the ball, but good luck to them. They got the goal in the end.
Smith, who almost took that spectacular mark earlier in the day, has scored his first. So on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, it's 4-2 to 4-1. Preston a point in front. And again, it'll be Kershaw and Jordan. Jordan coming in from the same side. Kershaw taps it forward and then takes it himself against Lamachisi. About to play on there. Umpire thought may have called him up for holding the ball, but not. And Brown takes the mark at halfback. Brown goes wide. He's looking for Hunt. It's a bit too wide for him, and it'll be a ball in. Phil, Shaw's been a big problem. He's kicked 18 goals in the 2 games against Williamstown, and already 3 today, so Wheeler would have to be thinking about that.
They've just got to stop the ball getting down to him, because the way he's going, every time it gets in his area, he looks like he's going to take the mark and kick a goal.
So again, a ball up. Half forward and between half forward and centre wing. Point the difference. Preston won the toss, kicked to the Fitzroy end, and it was an advantage in the Division 2 match today. Now Round doing the ruck work with Towan going in against him. And again, a ball up. So not a lot happening just at the moment. Gary, do you think Peter Waitman would be happy with a point lead at this stage?
Well, I think they weren't looking too good about 10 minutes ago, but Shaw's really given them something on that forward line. He'd have to be a bit happier than he was 10 minutes ago.
Lamachisi, who's been a busy rover. And again, a ball up. So not a lot happening just at the moment. Phil on the far side. Point the difference. on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Preston 26, Williamstown 25.
Right, Bruce, and they've been playing a total of 23 minutes into the first quarter. Let's see what happens here as we have umpire Casey coming in with the bounce, comes back into the ruckman, tapped away by Round. There was the opportunity for Bryan to get it away. It comes around the flank on the outer side of the ground, and now Preston are getting it into attack through Lamachisi. Up towards the, further up towards the wing position, it was Plowman to come in and take the mark. So Plowman about to put the bull ants with his 5th kick across towards centre half forward. Waiting under the ball is Frost. Frost failed to take the mark. Trying to break away was Owen of Williamstown. The umpire coming in. This is umpire Marcy this time to say it will be a ball up. So a pack of players gather around the ball, favouring the Fitzroy Street end of the ground. Kershaw got into the back of Jordan, and Jordan will get the free kick. So Jordan now from this position. Here's Shaw being tagged by Briarty, but both players now won't get to the ball. It just drops short, comes in the direction of Murphy, and Murphy comes in to take the mark in defence. He was the best player on the ground last week against Sandringham as he plays it up towards that half-forward line. Nobody able to trap it until eventually coming through is Owen. Owen now of Williamstown towards the centre half-forward zone, and the umpire's giving the free against White. No, he's given it to White, rather, and it will be played around the wing on the stand side. A pick up here by Murphy. Murphy up towards Round, and Round, who's played a great game right across the half-forward line, whether in position play or in-field play in the ruck. Gets his kick in. What a kick, but it's offline and will be forced through for one behind. So that takes Williamstown on to 4-2 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Both sides are even. Preston on 4-2. Now to Gary Bryce and Phil Cleary. How would you summarise the game to this stage?
Well, as the scoreboard indicates, identical scores, and I think that each side has held control for probably 5 or 10 minute period each, and at this stage, as we said, not much happening, but there's certainly been quite a bit happening during the quarter.
Can you see a pattern of play, Phil?
Well, it just looks to me a little bit like Preston have to work a lot harder to get a goal, and I think that's going to be a problem as the game develops. Maybe Williamstown will just have a little bit too much up their sleeve for them.
Well, you've got Round playing well across that half-forward line and an opportunist in Rickman down there.
They don't need, yeah.
OK. Long comment there. Long sentence from Phil Cleary. And now there's been a free awarded out here to Carlson. Carlson will come in from the back line, play it to the wing on the outer side of the ground. Kershaw went up for it, failed to take the mark, immediately kicked back towards that half-forward line. Pack of players move in here. Trying to get in was Carlson again, a push there by Prideaux, but the umpire has indicated it's over the line. Both scores even, both on 4-2 at the moment. And coming in from behind, Gordon Towan got the knockout down to Carlson. Carlson of Preston up towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. And moving in here is Plowman. Plowman now will get his kick across towards Hunt. And Hunt accepts that pass at centre half forward. Hunt has a player making a lead. That's Jamie Shaw right up from the full forward zone, but Brighty beats into the ball. He's got a bit of pace this though. Saw him moving across the ground at the 10-minute mark earlier, showing his pace when he wasn't at full-back. It comes through towards Knight. Knight now gets the lead, but Kevin Sate slipped as the ball got towards him, and this allows the defence of Preston through White to play it in towards Carlson, and Carlson has taken the mark right in the centre of the ground, being manhandled a bit here by Kershaw, and the umpire will call Kershaw back to 15 metres. Shaw is right out in the pocket at the moment. He's put it straight into the hands of Pastore in defence towards the big fellow, Round. Round now gets a hand pass in. It comes across in the direction of Dimartino. Dimartino up towards the forward pocket, and the mark has been taken down here for Williamstown by Fotheringham. Fotheringham, the full forward, in the right forward pocket. Hasn't kicked a goal to this stage, and they've got 4 on the board. Williamstown, both sides on 4-2. He has the chance to put them ahead on our Mitsubishi scoreboard. Deep in the forward pocket, lining them up fairly deliberately, but it'll be offline enough to be forced onto the goal post, and one behind is the result. So Williamstown go to 4-3, 27 to Preston's 4-2, 26.
Gee, Phil, Preston have made a couple of terrible errors from centre half forward in the last couple of minutes, both times looking for Shaw, and their kicking has been awful. Salvador to Watt. Watt towards half forward. Mashali, who's just come on, and a good mark by Pastore over the top. Not sure who's come off for Mashali. Frost and Mashali having a little tangle up. Now McTaggart, who's hasn't been seen a lot, towards half forward. That's a great kick to Fotheringham. Should sit for him. Didn't quite. And Towan taps it back in the direction of Hunt or Brown. I'll pick him up in a moment. It'll be a ball in. It's Hunt. No, I think I was right the first time. It was Brown. So it'll be Round and Towan to do battle. Throw-ins. Leaving Jordan back on Kershaw, which is a good move, I feel. Towan's tap towards Watt. Watt didn't do particularly well at all. Slevenson missed it. Off the ground by Bryan. Frost. It sat for him well. He'll go to Jordan over the top. Now, he should go to Lumachese. Doesn't. One bounce. Now, where's Shaw? He's on a lead. He's got him, and he'll get a free kick. It was good play by Jordan, Gary. I thought he might go wide to Lumachese, but he did it the right way. He waited for Shaw.
Yes, I think they've got to go for Shaw every time, and it was open in the middle. There was a space for Shaw to lead, and he did exactly the right thing, Jordan. Excellent play.
But for the first time, Phil, in a long time, they went direct. It didn't go the flanks when they got the ball at centre half.
That's right. They've been messing around. I think if they break the game up in the middle and make the run straight to the goals, they've got every chance to score.
Well, we're looking at a man who's kicked 130-odd goals, and he's kicked 18 against this team in the 2 games so far, and has the chance to put Preston in front at quarter time. So Shaw will take his time. He's kicked 3 so far and given away the other to Lumachese. He's only 25 metres out. Really a bread and butter shot for a full forward. Drop punt. Stabs it through. Goal, and Preston lead on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. 5-2-32. Williamstown 4-3-27.
Righto, in a few moments we'll hear from our commentators, our guest commentators, with their summary, but right now down to Tony Banks. Right, well, Tony was moving across there, and we could just hear him in the background, so there is a microphone problem, but we will hear from Terry Wheeler probably a little later on. Terry Wilkinson, I was calling Terry Wheeler a while ago, matched them both up. They were similar types of players, I suppose, but Terry Wilkinson, of course, played for Sandringham. Anyway, let's have a look at the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Preston 5-2-32, leading Williamstown 4-3-27.
Let's have a coffee. Would you like Swiss, French or Vienna style?
Swiss.
Well, French. Then I'll have Vienna.
It's not too much trouble.
Why have ordinary coffee when you can now have the international flavour of Jarrah coffee mixes in an instant?
Coffee machine.
Jarrah instant coffee mixes. Turn your kettle into a coffee machine.
Delicious.
Thanks.
Switch and save. New Heister lift trucks save you big bucks.
Our new Heister, boss. Isn't it great? And it saved us so much money. Because now what used to be extra, they're all standard. And the new Heister dealer leasing plan, it saved us heaps.
You mean we have money to invest in another good idea?
Like another Heister.
Switch and save. New Heister lift trucks save you big bucks.
We now cross to the Denny's Grand Slam. Big serve from the pancakes, eggs to serve, lovely. Bacon return service, oh, but it's wide. Ah, what a sausage. And there we leave it at juice.
Check out the change in the Ford Courier range. Courier Super Cabs with super comfort, practical interior load space. Have your crew and truck it too with new Courier Crew Cabs. Check out the change in the Ford Light Truck range now.
Denise Drysdale joins Greg Evans as celebrity co-host tonight on Star Search. Star Search, presented by Kleenex Toilet Tissue, 6:30 tonight on 10.
On our Mitsubishi scoreboard at the first change in the first semi-final, Preston 5-2 are leading Williamstown 4-3. We'll have comments now from Gary Bryce and then Phil Cleary, coach of the Coburg side. Gary?
Well, as the scoreboard indicates, it has been a fairly even first quarter, although Preston have had the agency of the breeze and therefore they must be a little bit disappointed. One of the factors that we've discussed it through the quarter is that they have taken the ball too wide on too many occasions. When they've got a player like Jamie Shaw and Plowman, who are both playing very well in that key position, I feel they should be directing the ball up the middle far more frequently, and that will pay them greater dividend if they did that. Williamstown, on the other hand, they, as Phil mentioned earlier, they do seem to be able to get their goals a lot easier than Preston, and with the agency of the breeze this quarter, I'd expect that they'll go ahead with it.
Well, Phil, what's going through your mind about them?
Well, I think it's a very exciting game. There haven't been any fireworks, but it's interesting to see two sides of a different style play a game out and to see which one can sort of win it. Especially, I think Preston really are an underdog with the smaller players not having the height of Round and Kershaw, and they have to work so much harder, and I think they're doing that. I would imagine they've tackled more than Williamstown have, and that's sort of given them the rebound. As Gary said, they've tended to go wide a few times, whereas they must go for Spider Shaw. And he makes it exciting because when the ball comes out of the middle and you know he's a target, it brightens everything up. And he's going very well.
He's a little more physical today, isn't he? And his approach to the ball.
Well, he's taken some of those big... I mean, I've always thought he was a good mark overhead. You know, I think he's very dangerous overhead. But as Gary was saying, some days he's a bit cold and other days he's hot. Today he's hot, and it's great to see.
Yeah. All right, Gary, you just said to Phil they need him out there to liven it up a bit.
Well, we'll be expecting a few fireworks next week, but no, there hasn't been any of the traditional type of VFA aggression that normally hallmarks these sort of games.
Like those forearms, Gary, aimed at Port Melbourne heads.
Yes,
are you an advocate of this type of play, are you?
No, I think that it adds a little bit to the game. There haven't been any hard physical clashes at this stage. It's been very open. The running type of game's been good. We've had some excellent marks, and it's been a pretty good game up to now. I'd like to see a little bit more hard tackling and a few more bumps.
If you had Mickey Thompson out there, Gary, he'd be the sort of bloke you'd send out to do a bit of swiping.
No, I don't send players out to do that, but I think there hasn't been enough real pressure exerted by either side at this stage.
Well, physical contact, of course, just goes without saying with Phil Cleary, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I mean, I hope I play the game physically. I'm getting a bit old now, you know. I can't catch those little blokes like I might have been able to in the past.
OK, Ian, let's have a look at these statistics on the game here to quarter time.
Right, well, first of all, let's have a look at the goal kickers. For Preston, we have Shaw with 4, Lumachisi 1. For Williamstown, 1 each to Knight, Round, Sate and Smith. So far as the team statistics are concerned at quarter time, as you would expect, a very even first quarter of football. Williamstown possessions 53 with Preston 57. They're made up of 46 kicks, Williamstown 48 Preston. The major difference is in the marking department. Williamstown taking only 12 marks with Preston a total of 20, and free kicks 7 to Williamstown, 14 to Preston.
All right, now we have the players breaking up, and in this quarter we'll have Preston kicking towards the left of the screen. That's down towards the lake end of the ground, and Williamstown towards the right of the screen, the Fitzroy Street end of the ground. We're hoping to go down to Tony Banks, if we can get contact with him in a few moments' time, to get comment. Yes, Tony's ready for us. No? I got an indication and a whistle and then a wave and a no. So we can't get comments from him. He's up here with us. Tony just wandered into the commentary. He's come up for a microphone that works, he just told me. So we'll see what happens later on anyway. But Gary Bryce, wind blowing down the ground. We can look at the papers that are on the ground, and it's obviously favouring the Fitzroy Street end.
The Williamstown side have the agency of the breeze this quarter, and I think we should see them surge ahead during this quarter. I think it's probably a 3-goal advantage at this stage.
Righto, and here's the indicator to the timekeepers now, and it will be umpire Marcy come in for the bounce of the ball, and here we go. And it's Jordan who went in for the knockout, failed to get it, taken away by Salvador, up towards the half-forward line. Coming in as Murphy in defence, he failed to gain possession, picked up by Plowman. Plowman up towards Jamie Shaw, knocked away by Bryarty, goes out towards the pocket position, players going after it. There went Plowman down to the ground, the umpire blows the whistle, and it will be a throw-in. Williamstown on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, 4-3-27, Preston 5-2-32. Well, there's the replay of the player going forward as it comes back into play now, and it will be a ball up once again. See the big fellow there in Kershaw. Getting ready to come in the ruck, and he gets a big knockout, gets it wide of the pack, and coming around is McTaggart. McTaggart up to the wing on the outer side of the ground, and the mark has been taken by Charasu. Charasu has the chance to put it across to Watt, and Watt comes in to take the mark. They're looking a little more deliberate even at this early stage, Preston, and he shoots it towards Jamie Shaw, but well covered. And it was Kershaw who came in defence. Comes around the wing position now on the stand side of the ground. Wheeler came into it but couldn't get the ball. A pick up by Sate. Sate up towards the forward zone, but no one able to take the mark. It's kicked back in the direction of Sate again. Barry Brown taps it wide. Sate has the chance but couldn't get in there, and eventually we'll see it kicked right downfield by Prideaux of Preston towards the half-forward line. Kicking in danger, but the umpire allowed it to go on. That was a kick from Plowman towards the half-forward line. Comes back to Murphy. Murphy up towards Cale, and Cale will take the mark. So Williamstown now trying to get it into attack. A little bit of twisting and turning. Goes up towards Rickman. Rickman failed to take the mark. Down here in the direction of Sleverson. Sleverson couldn't break away, and holding the ball, the free kick will be taken here by Bryan. Bryan now with a 15-metre penalty being applied on Sleverson. Comes upfield. He looks around. The players calling for it near the centre, but they continue to go around the wings. He was looking for Salvador, and Salvador comes in, traps the ball, but he'll be trapped with it, and it will be a ball up. On the wing, on the stand side of the ground. Williamstown 4-3-27, Preston 5-2, a total of 32. That's on now Mitsubishi Scoreboard. Jordan gets bumped out of the way, you saw it, he gets the throw. That was against Kershaw, of course. Now Jordan gets the lead, sending it around the flank again, pushed out towards the boundary line. It was Carlson who came in. He screws it across towards centre forward, and it'll be a mark by Brighty in the last line of defence, I'd say. Goal umpire comes out to confer with field umpire, just to indicate it didn't go. Yes, it did go over the line. So it will now be another score to Preston, taking them to 5-3 with Williamstown on 4-3. 1 goal the difference. Bruce McAvaney.
Thanks, Phil. And Brighty towards half-back, and Pastore after it. And after Pastore, Huntony got into his back. So free kick to Pastore. Williamstown kicking with the aid of whatever breeze there is here at the Junction Oval today. Perfect conditions, really, for footy. Bit overcast and the ground in good order. Preston led by 5 points at quarter time. They're a straight goal in front, 33-27. Noticed any moves, Gary or Phil? I haven't seen a lot in this term from the first quarter.
I noticed that Brerety's playing Shorey pretty close.
Towards Knight at half-forward end, Rickman. Charasu, Watt over the top of it. Over the top of Watt is Cale, and it'll be a ball up. Cale not too happy. Smith not too happy, but it looked all right from here. Both Rickman and Fotheringham struggling a little to get into the game. They've had 5 kicks between the two of them, Ian Gibbs tells me. Charasu with a hurried kick. He's looking for Salvador and Owen. Owen's done a good job of tagging him. McTaggart with a little left-footer to the pocket. Not good, but Charasu missed it. It was an awkward bounce. Prideaux will run it over the boundary line, and it will be a ball in. Roving has been fairly even, Gary. Have you seen an advantage in the Rucks and Rovers so far?
Well, I think Jordan is having a better duel of the ruck with Kershaw. He's getting his body in and been a recipient of quite a few free kicks. I think the Roving's been fairly even with Sate and Lamachuzi doing quite well for their sides.
So it's Kershaw around with a tap, rather. Left foot by Brown towards Jordan, who's worked very, very hard, and it's a matter of whether he can keep going. Salvador over the top of it, allowed to play on. Kershaw tries to barge his way through. He does, and then with a little one, it's good footy to Smith. Gee, Phil, the big fella did that well.
Yeah, it was a bit hard for him to put the tackle on him. He's built like an oak tree, and you've got to have very strong arms to get them wrapped around him.
Eddie Maguire's joined us for the second term. Eddie, important kick for Smith to put Williamstown level.
That's right, Bruce. Yes, Smith lining up from 45 metres out from goal. It's on line and through for his second goal.
Many people think that fine engineering comes only in expensive European cars, like a totally integrated suspension system and an electronic 4-speed automatic transmission, economical and responsive. Now in Australia, Mitsubishi Magna gives you all this, plus an innovative Astron Mark II engine with the power to challenge a 6. Magna, a totally new class of car from Mitsubishi. Car Maker of the Year again.
Scores level at the 6-minute mark of the second quarter as Sleverson gets the handball out the top towards Wheeler. Wheeler with the long left foot kick up towards full forward. Coming through there is Perry. It's pushed onto the ground. Rickman dives on top of the ball and gives away a free kick. And it's in the back there, the free kick to be taken by Brown.
Ian, is that Wheeler's first or second kick? He hasn't had very many.
That's his first kick.
Strong mark taken there by Lee Carlson, who's been a prominent player so far this game. Carlson goes for the chip pass out towards the wing position. Coming in there is Bryan. Bryan overruns the ball. Salvador off the ground. Picked up there by Sleverson. Sleverson now towards centre half forward. Brown sets himself. Tries to tap on. Recovers well. Gets the kick forward. Rickman will lead the race for the ball, but it'll bounce over the line and out of bounds about 10 metres around from the Williamstown goal.
Score from the tennis, USA 4, Australia 6. Australia have taken the doubles. Gee, Gary, that was lazy Carlson to Bryan there at half forward, and they really got into trouble over it.
Yes, well, he did it also in the first quarter. If you remember, he came down, should have placed the ball to Shaw and just blasted away, didn't really care about it. So should expect more of a player of his ability.
So Cahill's kick has gone out of bounds on the fall, and obviously White will take it, and he's going to go for a run. A couple of bounces. He's had a late start to the season, White, but has come back well. Drop punt towards centre wing. Plowman takes the mark. Was a good player in the first quarter. Left foot. 9th kick for Plowman. Carlson at the back. McTagg at the front. Little left foot around his body there by Bryan. Now Shaw's one out. This is the way he likes it. Lumachisi tries to help Carlson, and it will be a ball in. They've got the ability, Preston, Phil, to keep that forward line open and giving Shaw plenty of chance to be one out with Brighty.
Yes, and Plowman's very important too, because he turns onto that left foot and swings it into the goals quickly.
Great defensive work there by Brighty to knock the ball away there from Shaw. Shaw does the ruck work against Kershaw, comes to the ground. Players dive in on top of it once more, and the umpire will come in and bounce. Eight and a half minutes gone in the second quarter. Scores dead level. Ball up about 25 metres out from the Preston goal. Kershaw and the red-booted Shaw. Kershaw gets the punch, but it's picked up by Watt almost. He's met solidly by Kershaw. Play on, says the umpire. No, he's pulled out a free kick. And the free kick will go to Jamie Shaw. Did you see what that was for?
Yeah. I think he's played holding the ball. The fellow was over the top of it, and Jamie Shaw grabbed him by the jumper and swung. I think he was a little bit lucky, but maybe it was there.
I think the good thing is that they're consistent. Play it in the centre of the ground. If you play it there or pay it there, you should play it at full forward.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a good umpiring, actually.
Shaw now lining up. He's kicked 4 goals so far. Taking his time, as is usual, for the big full forward. Comes in, the drop punt on its way. Umpire doesn't move it, straight through the centre, his 5th.
Like the man said, we need to be more efficient, more productive. Well, how's this? The Crown fork truck that lifts 1,000 pounds for under $2,000. You can't get more efficient than that. And it's Australian made. Well, let's get on with it. Call Crown.
On the Mitsubishi scoreboard, it's 6-3 to 5-3. Preston leading by a goal. And it will be a ball up with Sleverson and Salvador wanting to get into it, and Lumachisi helping out. Been played in a very good spirit this game so far. So Kershaw round both there for Williamstown and Jordan for Preston. He really has done well so far, Jordan, against great opposition, as we saw there. Prideaux tries to tap it forward. Sleverson gives him a little shove, and Prideaux's going to get the free kick. Tony Banks is down at the boundary line. Tony?
Bruised right thigh. It may have been one of the reasons Shaw was running riot in the first quarter. Last week he got a broken nose. Back here, Bruce.
So that's Di Martino. Thanks for that, Tony. White plays it in front, so Di Martino off injured after being injured last week. Wheeler towards Knight, and again it's going to be a ball up, and here's a go at centre half back with Wheeler, and now everybody getting involved. Phil, you wouldn't take part in anything like that?
It's nice to see that the captain coach is being looked after too. We like it that way.
Gary, Terry struggled a little today, hasn't he? I guess when you're out there playing as well as coaching, it must be a little difficult if your own form's down a bit.
Well, it's also very difficult. He's in the back pocket today, and it's very hard to dictate the game from that position. So I think he's done reasonably well with the chances that he's had.
Well, players now separate after that altercation. There's nobody for about 80 metres back at the Williamstown end of the ground. Ball up. Towan comes in with Round to do the ruck work. Round gets the tap, comes down, Prideaux bursts through. He kicks up to centre half forward. Wheeler gets in front of the pack, couldn't take the mark. Roving there was the big fella Kershaw. His kick forward to Knight, he couldn't take the mark. Coming through again was Perry. Perry's long kick out wide, but it's marked there by Sleverson. Sleverson lines up from 45 metres out from goal. He's put it through, and that's a great goal to Sleverson. Williamstown 6-3 now, scores level.
On Saturdays, Alex goes to work. Now, what can Bosch do for you this weekend?
Carlson with the kick up towards the centre of the ground. Take it underneath, it goes up high, takes a strong mark.
I think it's important here, Eddie, that Preston can hold, because Williamstown just look as if they might get on top. They've drawn level, they've got the best end to kick to, and they look to be playing a little better.
Round with the set, another strong mark. Barry Round jumped all over Gordon Towan on that occasion, and I think that would have to be the mark of the day so far, Bruce.
Yes, a spectacular mark by Round. He's getting up pretty well for a 36-year-old. And the thing that's really impressed me, as we see that Towan's in a bit of trouble at centre-half back, is that Round is kicking so much better. Gary, is that an optical illusion, or do you think he has improved in that area?
I think it's a fluke, really. Well, Barry doesn't use that torpedo in that first quarter. It was a magnificent kick, but he'll get the distance here. The accuracy could be a little bit doubtful.
Banksy, what's happening down there as Round's having a shot for goal?
Yeah, well, Alan Khalid just warming up to come on the ground. He's the captain of the under-19s, hasn't played with the under-19s this year, and he's getting ready to get on the ground if Gordon Towan has to go off. But it looks like Towan's okay. He's had his shot for goal and missed it.
Well, you might have put the mods on Barry Round on that occasion, Bruce. His kick was offline and through for only one behind.
Gary Brights is not a bad judge, Phil. He told me that Bright should go to full-back, and he told me that Rounds was a fluke.
I might have to use him out at Coburg this week to get us set for the second semi.
6-4 to 6-3, a point the difference on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. White to bring her back in. Goes towards centre-half back, but Smith takes the mark. And Smith from centre-half forward. He's looking for Fotheringham. Not a particularly good kick, but a great mark. I thought it had gone over the top of Fothers. But he's plucked it out very cleverly. Barry Round giving him a bit of a hand. Watch this kicker Smith from centre-half forward. And Fotheringham seems to run himself under the ball. White doesn't do particularly well at all. And Fotheringham takes a really good mark and then gets a 15-metre penalty. Gary, I get the feeling that Preston, it might be slipping away at the moment.
Yes, well, it was bad concentration there by White. He thought obviously the ball was going to carry over, but made no real effort to go. He should have pushed himself forward at the ball and tried to palm it away.
Now, we've got the situation where what Fotheringham really wants to do is just tap it through the goal, because White is on the goal line. Terry Wheeler's explaining to the umpires how it should be done, but the umpire's saying, go back, Fothers, and no, you've got to go around on the angle. So Fotheringham will go back and take his time, and he'll kick a goal, and he has. And so it's 7-4 to 6-3.
Ernest, he's East Coast nerdy new accountant, and he's doing rather radical things to East Coast bosses, like these Ripper Sweats, only $19.99. East Coast double sleeve sweats, $29.99. And these very girly fleecy cardies, $29.99. Rocket stretch, completely brilliant, just $29.99. East Coast holiday hoo-ha, whoopee! Put your botties in these.
15 minutes gone in the first quarter, second quarter rather. Williamstown 7-4-46, lead Preston 6-3-39. Kershaw and Jordan. Neither ruckman get a decisive tap. It comes to Sleverson. Sleverson to McTaggart. McTaggart to Rickman, who taps it back to to McTaggart there. The kick off the ground from Preston goes over the line and out of bounds. It was Hunt who kicked it off the ground. There'll be a throw in on the wing position. Comes down to Prideaux. Prideaux's long kick down forward. Won't go out of bounds though. Up high from behind for Williamstown. It was strong play there, but it's finally come out with a chain of hand passes out towards Frost. Frost finally gets the handball working to Salvador. Should run in and put it through, and does so. That's Salvador's first. A good play there after what appeared to be a bit of a mix-up with some of their players.
Yes, Murphy had a chance for Williamstown. Now we've got to change rather Lawson's coming on and Lumachisi going off. And Salvador, important that he gets himself into the game. It's 7-3 to 7-4, a point the difference. And Lumachisi coming off. So on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, it's 45 to 46. And Williamstown's goals have been far more spread than Preston. That was the third goal scorer for Preston in their 7. Shaw, of course, being dominant. And Williamstown have had 6 goal scorers in their 7 to date. So Kershaw comfortably against Jordan. Tapped on by Knight. Carlson, left-footed player, of course, left-sided player. Owen knew that. Now Charasu with a little one to Perry, round his body. He's looking towards Bryan, who comes over the top of Wheeler. Tapped on by Williamstown to Owen. Owen's going to be run down, but he gets his kick in time towards full forward, and Fotheringham takes the mark. Pretty loose there by Preston, Phil.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes, really. They should have got out of that, and now they're looking at another goal. Williamstown seem to be getting a little bit of composure, and yet Preston still nibble away at them.
Young James about to come on for Sate, so a change there for Williamstown. Now Fotheringham's 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. Didn't kick it all that well, and he looks like he might have missed that, and he has. And Gary, bad miss for a full forward from there.
Yes, it is, and he's actually at full forward now. Previously, he was playing in the forward pocket with... Yes, he was at forward pocket. Now he's at full forward. I think that will give the Williamstown side a real lift.
Towan kicks out wide there towards Charasu. It's picked up, though, by Bryan, the captain. His kick forward. It's out there on the outer side, and it's marked by Watt. Watt plays on straight away, kicking up towards the half-forward line. Plowman from behind. It's punched away. Coming through, though, is Frost. Frost gets the clever handball working towards Carlson. He's pushed in the back by McTaggart. Play on, says the umpire. Plowman, a great player, gets the handball back. The chip forward looking for Carlson once more. He stood and watched. And the mark taken there by Owen.
Yeah, a bit of bad misunderstanding there. Salvador obviously should have gone for the mark, but thought his teammate was going to.
Push out here on the wing position. Free kick will go Williamstown's way. And with the aid of a 15-metre penalty, should be able to drive the ball well forward. Sleverson looking for leads up forward. Kicks long. Smith will fly from behind. Gets up well. Doesn't get his hands to the ball, though. Coming through there is Lawson. He dives on top of the ball for the Preston side. There'll be a ball up about 50 metres out from the Preston goal. From the Williamstown goal, rather.
47 to 45 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Preston 2 points in front. It's Cale over the top of it. And again, it will be a ball up. So, Gary, still Williamstown not able to really get into full flow at the moment. Preston tackling and keeping the pressure upon them, but just get the feeling that Williamstown will break through at some stage.
Well, both back lines appear to be on top at this stage, and it's a great duel from one half back line to the other, but a classic mistake of no talking there by the Preston players when they had it deep in their forward line. Cost them a goal.
Here's Phil.
Yeah, that feels better. OK, it goes out towards the half-back line, and moving in here is Bryan. Bryan now gets it around the wing on the outer side of the ground, but Williamstown getting it back into attack, looking for Sleverson at centre-half forward, but it comes back to the little fellow in James. James, with target accuracy, gets it up to Fotheringham, just 25 metres out from goal. He's good with his disposal, this James, Gary.
Excellent disposal, and it just shows you the value of a real full forward. He knew exactly when to lead, and that's the place that Fotheringham should be playing.
Fotheringham has kicked 1 goal, 2 so far, puts it on its way. Goal umpire doesn't move, it's a goal.
On Saturdays, Alex goes to work.
Bosch do for you this weekend?
Right, well, there you have the Mitsubishi scoreboard. We have Williamstown 8-5 and Preston 7-3. And on the bounce, a free kick has been awarded to Jordan, but he takes the hand pass. He gets it out to Carlson. Carlson to Watt. Watt up towards Jamie Shaw, who leads well, and he's taken the mark only about 18 inches off the ground. Jamie Shaw, 20 metres out.
Phil, that wasn't as spectacular as some of his other marks, but gee, it was a marvellous performance. Strength in the hands.
And have a look at his kicking. 5 goals so far. Not only strength in the hands, but good judgment. Leaning forward like that. All he needed was a little tip to get off balance, but he was too fast for the full back. Instructions going out to Bridie now. We can hear them coming from the coach up here. We'll have a look at this mark if he scores a goal here. Jamie Shaw going for his 6th, and he's put it right through the middle to take Preston onto 8-3, Williamstown 8-5. What a game with the scores the way they're going. And let's have a look at this mark, Gary Bryson, Phil Cleary.
It was an excellent mark because he had to hold his opponent out and get down. It was a last-minute ditch at the ball, and a fantastic mark, really.
He'd be loving this, I think, Phil, Jamie, and he'd be really happy about all those nice comments he's getting from the box, I think.
Well, you'll have to watch him if he plays against you.
Certainly will.
All right, here it is now. And comments then from our could-have-been champion. Could have been. Right, we're just waiting for it to come away from the centre. And a pick-up out here for Williamstown by Michelli. Michelli up towards centre half forward. And the mark has been taken by Salvador at half-back. So he gets his kick in, wide of the centre of the ground. Players move out in that area. Tapped off the hands of the pack, comes through towards the Frost. Frost now gets it into the hands of the big fellow in Barry Round, I think it is, isn't it? No, Kershaw. I'm just looking around for Round. He's up near the centre of the ground. He's coming in wide of the pack now. It just went past him, but the chance for Preston to defend. And the player coming in is Towan. Gordon Towan turns around, plays it over the centre, and the mark has been taken by Watt. So this is John Watt now with the kick from the centre. He was looking out towards the flank then, but he's now decided to go towards centre forward, and the big mark has been taken down here by Kershaw. Kershaw hand passes immediately, and we see it coming out towards the wing on the outer side of the ground, and the mark taken out here by Smith, who in turn puts it up towards the half-forward line. Coming in defence now is White. White of Preston for the Bullants, goes right upfield and then plays it around the flanks again. Why they can't go the direct line of attack, I don't know. They did it against you, Phil Cleary.
Yeah, they've tended to go a bit wide. I think they've got to break the game up through the middle and then try to bang it from the centre straight to Shorey.
But continually, every match we've seen them, they go straight for the flanks. And here's a little bit of a blue going on out on the wing, and there is Fotheringham. And also up there is Brown of Preston. Both verbling one another at the moment. Or is that what you call sledging, Bruce?
Well, it's a bit of both. White and Fotheringham, of course, they're standing one another, so they're not going to be real mates today, that's for sure. Taken by Prideaux. Sun breaks through for the first time, and Prideaux kicks it out of bounds on the full to celebrate. So Wheeler from the centre wing. Terry playing in the back pocket today, always a good kick. Rickman's underneath this, and a couple of Preston players in front of him, and a good mark there. It looks like Perry in the front spot. Rickman's really struggling at the moment, Gary. He must be a bit of a worry for Wheeler.
Well, he started off at full forward, and I thought moving into half forward might give him a bit of a chance to run into the ball, but he doesn't seem to be able to get into it at the moment.
He's only had 2 kicks, and that was pretty ordinary by Salvador to set Plowman up like that, and it's going to be a ball in. Indecisive, Phil.
You just can't afford to make those errors at this point in the game. You know, it's late in the game, things are tight. You've really got to make sure every post's a winner.
Into time on Mitsubishi scoreboard, 53-51. Williamstown in front, but it has been tight. Now what? Round his body. Clever kick actually to Plowman. To Hunt. Not good. Should have gone on. He then came back, but he's got it to Jordan. He should go over the top to Carlson, but the disposal's poor. Frost misses the body, puts Plowman under great pressure. Now Hunt off the ground. This is, hasn't been good. Charasu tries to get over the top. Mashali knocked on by Frost. Watt. Gee, Preston have had 5 chances here and haven't been able to do it. Jordan smothered. Round his body by Hunt. Now can Shaw do something with it with Bridie? Wheeler. Handball again, not good, missing the body. A comedy of errors at the moment. Charasu, kicked by Shaw, is going to be a behind. No, Carlson's got it. Now he's got Frost in the goal square if he wants him, but he's going to go back on his left leg. Gee, Gary, they were slow motion all the way there.
Well, it was a comedy of errors there. Players weren't prepared to take the ball out of the air. They wanted to just punch it away and hope someone would get it. They've got to be a bit more positive than that.
Carlson with a shot as we get a score, seeing that the USA have won the girls' singles 6-3. Carlson's left foot has missed a behind, so it's 8-5 to 8-4. 1 point the difference on the Mitsubishi scoreboard.
Yes, a quieter type of game, but the scores are indicating we're in for a great second half, I'd say, as Bridie goes back for the kick-off. Let's hear from our could-have-been champion up there. Saturday morning champion, aren't you, Phil?
That's right, Phil. Yeah, could have been. There's a few could have been champions around the traps. Actually, they tell me you're one of them. I can't see why you think it's a quiet game. I reckon it's very exciting.
Do you?
Yeah,
What do you think, Gary?
Oh, I'm enjoying it immensely. I think the close scores and the pressure's there. There's no doubt about that.
Marvellous how these fellas change their minds when the mic's open. Gary says a little more aggression to be good. That's probably what I'm missing. OK, it comes out here towards Charasu. Charasu out towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. It was Perry who got tripped then and couldn't get away with the ball. Scrambling football we're seeing out on the outer wing position. A hand pass comes across here. Will be taken down, Phil, by Hunt. Hunt gets it up towards the pocket and Carlson comes out to take the mark. Or is it Frost? Frost it is. So Frost now goes with his kick towards full forward. Oh, bang! Right in the ear. All right, well, we might get a look at that. As we have ready to come on the ground is Collegia. Jamie Shaw. We've got plenty of time. Jamie Shaw will take 2 or 3 minutes before he kicks the ball. But you can't criticise him when he's kicked 6 goals so far. Great play. And he's kicked 141. Oh, I think he missed him. Phil Cleary said just as well. He's been brought round at a very acute angle here. But he has the chance to either get ahead or even the score. Behind will even the score as he puts it on its way. Goal umpire watches what we indicate. It's a goal.
Dad and I had a man-to-man talk the other day. I said, Dad, we can't go on living like this. The country's the place for us. He said, but it's too expensive for us, son. Not with Salanti Property Advisors, I answered. We can have a quality home on 2 acres of land for under $40,000. Really? Would I lie to you, Dad? With that, I tucked him into bed and went back to reading my financial review. Thanks, Salanti.
Ball has been bounced, but Tony Banks has a report.
OK, well, Robert Perry's on the opposite side of the ground. The stretch is going out now to get him. Collegia's on the ground. We don't know what's wrong with him as yet, but they're frightened to move him, and they're right across underneath the Mitsubishi sign there, on the opposite side of the ground.
Thanks for that, Tony. Perry in trouble on the other side of the ground. Collegia on, so Preston virtually down to 17 men at this stage. So White from the back pocket. Drop punt. 53 to 58. Round with the mark. So Preston back in front. And Shaw's kicked 7 out of 9. Round, who has kicked 1 goal today. Drop punt. It's high, but it is straight. It'll get to the goal square. Fotheringham did pretty well there. Got rid of White. White looks for a free kick. Cale and Fotheringham have got hold of him. And just when Preston are going to get it through, umpire decides he'll take a bounce. Bad luck there because it would have opened it up again. So Towan and also Round. Stretches come out for Perry. Tony will let us know what's happened there. James, left foot round his body, but White will take it. James made a mistake there. I feel he probably should have gone straight for the goal on his right foot. White's got Hunt short out here if he wants him. That's out towards the grandstand side. I think Terry's going to get a lot of pressure out of getting this 15-metre out of Fotheringham. As Perry's getting carried off on a stretcher in the background. And now 30 metres for White. And he goes up to the centre. Wheeler in the front, McTaggart in the front spot, takes the mark, goes wide to James. And James has got Knight leading. That's the way he'll go. Sits up nicely. Charasu with Knight. Free kick to Charasu. And Tony Banks is on the sideline. And we'll get a report on Perry in just a moment. But at half-time in the Mitsubishi scoreboard, Preston have done really well to hang in. They're 9-4-58, Williamstown 8-5-53. And Tony, what's happening down there?
Perry's coming off the ground. He has torn his hamstring, and it doesn't look too good. He's got a bad tear in the right leg, so he won't partake in the game, I would say, at this stage.
Not if it's a hamstring, he won't, Tony, as the attendants bring him off the ground. But a good effort by Preston then to finish up with the lead at half-time. Preston 9-4-58, Williamstown 8-5-53. We'll have our summaries from our two could-have-been champions, or has been, in one area, right after this break.
For anybody who wants a few moments of peace on the way to a concert, or just enjoys a quiet conversation, Mitsubishi Magna is your car, superbly quiet, so you can hear every note, every word. Magna, a totally new class of quiet. From Mitsubishi, car maker of the year, again.
Aspro Clear is a most advanced form of pain-relieving aspirin. Aspro Clear is totally soluble, and so is rapidly absorbed to work quickly and effectively. To help relieve headache, to help reduce fever, to help relieve body aches and pains. Use only as directed, and if pain persists, see your doctor. Every day, more and more Australians place their trust in Aspro Clear. Aspro Clear, totally soluble and works fast.
Right now, you probably think you're looking at nothing. But nothing could be further from the truth. You see, this is really a bubble of nothing. And when bubbles of nothing are mixed with creamy milk chocolate to make aero, well, nothing tastes so delicious. Nothing tastes so melt in the mouth. In fact, nothing tastes anything quite like it. It's really something. Aero. It's the bubbles of nothing that make it really something.
Well, Preston are 9-4, leading Williamstown 8-5 on our Mitsubishi scoreboard here in the first semi-final. We'll have the athletics coming up in a few moments. That's the sprint. But now over to Gary Bryce for his summary on the game to half-time.
Well, it has been a very interesting game to half-time, as the scores indicate. At various stages throughout the half, each side has looked as though they're really taking control of the game. But full credit to the other side then, who's fought back to get in right back into the game. And Williamstown looked as though they were going to be able to take control during that second quarter. Kershaw became a lot better player for them after he'd been down in that first quarter. And we saw Shaw continue on. He's really the focal point for the Preston side. And I'm a bit disappointed, I'm sure they are, that they don't get the ball down to him a lot quicker. If they can do that, I'm sure they can do a lot better in this game. But they still hold a slender lead at half-time and are looking pretty good, because I didn't think they'd be in it at this stage of the game. I thought Williamstown would be far too good. But full credit to Preston for fighting back in a situation that could have seen Williamstown go right ahead with it. Both sides still have their problems. They've got their forwards are down, except for Shaw, who's, I mentioned, the most dominant player on the ground. The forwards in both sides really not firing, but I think Fotheringham will see a big lift from him in the next half. He could be the key to the game.
Barry Round did a lot in the first quarter for Williamstown, Phil.
Yeah, every so often he looks dangerous, but there's one thing to look dangerous, there's another actually to get the ball consistently, and probably he's not getting quite enough possessions. But you know, to me it's like a really good novel. You know, it's sort of unfolding, and you're not really sure how it's going to conclude. At this point in time, Willie 5 points behind, and at times they've looked like they're going to go ahead with the game, and yet every time they do, Preston bounce back, and you just don't know. Maybe at the end Preston will be good enough.
Well, here are some of the highlights at the present time, and Jamie Shaw with one of his 7 goals, I think it is, coming up, and he's been a very, very strong player for them up there, hasn't he?
He's a beautiful player. I love him. You know, I love the way he plays. He's really exciting to watch, because that mark that Gary pointed out earlier, look, he took the mark running at full pace and he grabbed it above the ground without even hitting the deck himself. He grabbed it in his hands, and then the next time he takes a big mark in the air. So he's very exciting.
Now, what would you tell your players about him, though, when you're playing against him?
Well, you have to stop your players up the ground. You know, you've got to make sure the ball just doesn't get near him enough times, and the bloke on him has to work very, very hard.
Righto, thanks, boys. We'll get down to the runners in a moment, but Ian, the statistics on the game.
Very quickly, the Preston kick get us to half-time. Pretto with 10, Plowman 9, Carlson 8 and Watt 7. For Williamstown, Smith with 7 kicks, Levinson 6 and Murphy 7. For goal kickers, Preston up to half-time. Jamie Shaw with 9 kicks has kicked 7 goals straight, giving him 142 for the season. Lumachese 1 and Salvador 1. For Williamstown, 2 each to Smith and Fotheringham, 1 each to Knight, Round, Sate and Sleverson.
All right, one of the highlights of the final series over the last few years has been the sprint. So let's go down now and hear what happens in the 440.
Thanks very much, Phil. Well, the runners in the first final of the day are just about ready to be sent on their way. Andy Moore in the red will be the back marker. He was third at the stall, was a winner of the final last week. Peter Emerson is on 10, a winner of Rye. Chapman, the winner of the stall gift, is in the blue on 14. The yellow is Butters, Kellen in the green, Chris Brown in the pink, Thomas in the black, Howie in the brown, Cassidy in the purple and Joe Brown in the grey. The runners are now ready to be sent on their way in the final of the first of the Group 1 and the Nike Sprint. Well, the runners are just about ready to be sent on their way now. The back marker Moore got the job ahead of him off 8 and Joe Brown on 34. Just about ready. Andy Moore, of course, was a centre half back for Camberwell. They're on their way now in the final of the first group, and Joe Brown, it is out in front of Leon Cassidy. Further back then to it would be Mark Thomas in the black, and then Chris Brown. Doug Howie losing ground, and then zooming around them is Callan in the green. Further back behind him then is Emerson, and back marker Moore is last of all. They go down the far side, and Thomas it is on the outside trying to take over from Joe Brown. Then further back in behind him is Cassidy. Glenn Chapman, the stall gift winner in the blue, has moved up to be third, and he's zooming around them. And the stall gift winner of 86 it is that looms up on the outside now. Heads off Joe Brown, then further back to Peter Emerson. But Chapman it is that straightens nicely clear, and the stall gift winner is going to take it out. Chapman will take it out. Andy Moore has run second. Peter Emerson third. Joe Brown possibly on the inside would have been fourth. Waiting. Well, the runners in the first of the finals, just waiting for the official placings now to come to hand. No doubt at all that Glenn Chapman actually run last a fortnight ago in the heat. And the official placings in the final. The official placings in the final of the Group 1, the blue, G. Chapman from 14 metres was first. The red, Andy Moore from 8 metres was second. And the white, P. Emerson from 10 metres was third. Officially fourth was the grey, Joe Brown. And the time was 50:15, 50:15. Now we cross to the Tony Banks to interview Glenn Chapman.
Glenn, current stall gift winner, but what a great run there today. You certainly had a bit up your sleeve, boss, eh, by the look of it?
Well, I wouldn't say I had any up my sleeve. I don't think I go much quicker than that.
No, well, you won by about 5 or 6 metres. You may not have been aware of the margin behind you, but you were pretty well clear.
Yeah, well, I was instructed to go out and run a very solid 300 and then just to come home with whatever I had left.
Well, Glenn, what made you swap, say, from the 130 to 400 metres, or do you intend sticking to the speed for this year's stall gift?
No, this is purely preparation for later events this year. I plan to run quite a few amateur meetings and so on, so this is just a part of the preparation.
Well, preparation in that race was pretty good. The $110 is yours, and we'll probably see you in the final, in grand final day. Let's go now to the second heat. Thanks very much, Glenn Chapman.
Now the runners in the second final of the day. The red will be Alan Cook, the 800 metres champion of Victoria. The white is Dee Hanlon from 14, who won the first of the series at Preston. The blue is JJ Morrissey on 16. The yellow B Seymour on 18. The green A Dinsdale on 22. The pink D Warlow on 22. The black J Bannon 24. The brown J Evans 24. The purple J L Park 26. And the grey G Bowyer is the limit marker on 36. They are the finalists in the second of the day. Should be a great race. Alan Cook probably one of the best circle runners in Australia. The back marker in the red is a boundary umpire on Saturdays. Probably hasn't got the speed to go with some of these, but he'll be coming home over the last half lap, and that same can be said of Hanlon, who will be in the white. They are the ones that'll come home hard. Well, the second barrel is gone, and just waiting for the starter to indicate. Not much doubt at all who's moved as the starter moves up and speaks to Hanlon. It'll be interesting to see whether he does penalise him. Hanlon is on 14. Well, David Hanlon, solicitor by occupation, was decided to be on his way early and has paid the penalty, has now moved back a couple of metres closer to the back marker, Cook. Makes his task difficult. They're on their way now in the second final of the day, and Bowyer, the limit marker, out in front in the grey, followed on by Park in the purple. Then moving up on the outside then is Bannon in the black, John Evans in the brown, going forward with him. Alan Dinsdale is in the green, and then further back behind him to Seymour. A break then back to the back marker, Cook, and Hanlon last of all. They go onto the far corner, and still Bowyer it is out in front. About to tackle him is Bannon, and the big fella around the outside is John Evans in the brown has taken over now. Then coming into the picture then is Warlow. John Evans in front, Warlow on the outside. Evans on the inside, Warlow, and then further back to Cook. Evans it is that straightens in front, Warlow, and in the centre is Bannon. Bannon it is in the centre, probably. Bannon in the black, Warlow on the outside, and Evans on the inside. Possibly the one Bannon who actually was at third when they really were fighting it out, and he's pushed through in the centre, and it's pretty close indeed. Just wait for the official placings now. It's much faster than the first one. They're running 49.96. The official placings in the second final, the pink, D. Warlow from 22 metres was first. The black, J. Bannon from 24 metres was second. The brown, J. Evans from 24 was third. And the red, the back marker, Alan Cook from 12 metres was fourth. And the time faster than the first, 49.96. And now it's over to Tony to interview the winner of that event, D. Warlow.
In the end?
Yeah, I was a bit lucky. I wouldn't want to be a metre further.
The black nearly caught you on the line, but you must have got to buy a whisker.
Yes, as I say, I fell in, I think.
How long have you been running professionally? Because you used to be a amateur runner, and you still train with the likes of Bruce Frayne and people like that.
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Now, how many races have you won?
It's the first.
$110, Richard. Congratulations. Well done, Max. Let's go back now to the commentary team. Phil Gibbs.
OK, thank you very much, Tony. And our commentator with the sprints was Eddie Bush, of course, well known throughout Victoria as an athletics commentator. And now let's have a look at the Mitsubishi scoreboard. We have Preston 9.4, 58, leading Williamstown 8.5, a total of 53.
To help show you what the amazing new Wartime cleaner can do, we've invited an old friend round. Thanks, Bill. That's a torture test for any cleaner. Broken glass, dirt, grit, even cotton waste that clings to anything. Now, watch the amazing electronic Wartime go to work. This Wartime actually thinks for itself, automatically adjusting the suction to meet the cleaning need. See how quickly the carpet is restored like new and damaging grit and glass removed. Wartime is European quality through and through, like the crush-proof 360-degree rotating hose and chrome steel wands. From powerful suction to delicate dusting, cleaning should always be this easy. Right now, Godfrey's special offer on new Wartime includes a guaranteed $50 trade-in, even more for later working models. So call into Godfrey's for a free demonstration at 380 Hawthorne Road, Caulfield South, or the Godfrey store near you. And remember, cleanliness is next to Godfreyness.
Feeling bored, need a change. Napro color turns ashes to flames. Wanna be different, a look to entice. Napro color turns salt and pepper into spice. In the mood for something bold, Napro color turns brass into gold. Come on, be daring, isn't it time? Let Napro
This commercial was going to be about nothing. But now it's about something and nothing. The something is creamy peppermint chocolate, and the nothing is wonderful bubbles of nothing. When they're mixed together to make peppermint arrow, well, nothing tastes so delicious. Nothing tastes so melt in the mouth. In fact, nothing tastes anything quite like it. It's really something. Peppermint arrow. It's the bubbles of nothing that make it really something.
Right, it won't be long before we have the players out on the ground here, but just having a look at the scores. Preston on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, a 9-4, 58, Williamstown 8-5, 53. And again, I might add how happy we are to have Mitsubishi here with us again today. They've done a lot for VFA football over the last few years, particularly in the community area for community football. Now let's have a look at the scores quarter by quarter. And we have them that Williamstown were 4-3 at the end of the first quarter to Preston's 5-2. And then at half-time, 8-5, Williamstown to Preston's 9-4. In the earlier game today, in the first semi-final second division, we had Paran 21-14, defeating Oakley 13-18. And to lose Seedy, who's been a wonderful worker for VFA football for many years in the Alfred Hospital, we hope you have a speedy recovery there, Lou. And the Paran Football Club have asked me to mention that the past players and officials get-together will be at the City and Overseas Club, 291 Dandenong Road, Windsor, Friday, September the 5th from 8 p.m. Bar facilities will be available, and it's $10 admittance with the supper. And to Debbie Biggs, I think Debbie might be watching today because her husband's on the main camera. I think it's the main camera. Won't upset the other fellas, I don't think. Well, Debbie has a daughter, to Jeffrey. And all the best to you, Debbie. Right, well, that's all the information we have for you. Let's have a look at these statistics, and then we'll take a break before the sides come out onto the ground. Ian, if we can have them here on the overall in the possessions first of all.
Right, as you'd expect with the score, they're pretty even up to half-time, with Williamstown 101 possessions, Preston 116. Been made up of 86 kicks for Williamstown and 15 hand passes for Preston, 96 kicks, 20 hand passes. Marks, Preston still stronger in the air with 35 up to half-time, Williamstown 30. Free kicks, Williamstown 11, Preston 20.
Righto, and the umpires are coming out onto the ground. I think they're not doing a bad job, Phil Cleary and Gary Bryce.
It's a terrible thing to say, Phil, but I think they're doing very well.
It's a surprising thing to hear from Phil, for him to say that they're doing a reasonable job. I bet he doesn't say that next week.
No, but he's got to play
We never get a
next
good
week.
go off them.
Anyway, Preston a 9-4, 58, leading Williamstown 8-5, 53.
7:30 Tuesday, meet the men folk songs are written about.
Never thought of myself as a folk legend.
That's because you are a folk moron. They're the A-Team, and they're setting up the biggest con since the Sting.
Bring on the suckers.
7:30 Tuesday on Channel 10.
Soon on 10, Britain's brilliant but bawdy Benny Hill will be back with a brand new bevy of buxom beauties. There'll be girls, gags and non-stop giggles when you see the Lord of Lunacy as you've never seen him before on the Benny Hill Show, coming soon to 10.
Good afternoon. A 20-year-old man has been charged with murder following the death of a 16-year-old girl in Altona early this morning. Police say Bernadette Marie Storer of Blackshaw's Road, Altona, died after being shot twice in the head after an argument at a house in Bell Avenue at about 2:20 a.m. Grant David Masciali of Bell Avenue, Altona, has since appeared before a JP charged with murder. He will appear in the Melbourne Magistrates Court tomorrow. And Prime Minister Bob Hawke was heckled by a crowd of 200 demonstrators at the Sydney Opera House this morning. They were protesting at the planned merger of the SBS with the ABC. We'll have more news updates throughout the afternoon.
Most people believe the only place you'll find craftsmanship today is in a museum. But there is someone in Melbourne who's still fussy about old-fashioned quality, like this solid wood handmade lounge by Post and Rail, and these natural timber low-line wall units by Mitre, or this solid Australian oak setting by Dreamhaven. You'll find them all at the Fussy Furniture Fella's 3 warehouses, Clayton, East Keilor and Thomastown. He still believes in real quality at warehouse prices.
Check out the change in the Ford light truck range. Econovan and Econovan Maxi, the economical vans. More models with muscle, even a four-wheel drive. Ford Courier, now with super cabs, with super practical interior load space. Comfortable new crew cabs, tough sons of trucks. New electronically injected V8 power to keep the rugged F-Series on top of the heap. Check out the change in the Ford light truck range now.
Delicious. What's in it besides peppermint chocolate?
Nothing.
Nothing. What makes it melt in your mouth then?
Nothing. Lovely bubbles of nothing.
Right.
Peppermint Aero. It's the bubbles of nothing that make it really something.
Step right up, folks, for the amazing Kentucky Fried Chicken box offer.
Or even better, folks, step up for the incredible bucket offer.
11 pieces for $9.50 or 16 for $13.50, only from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But it's for a limited time, Charlie. So be quick, Frederick.
Well, in a moment we'll be taking it down to Tony Banks, but we've got quite a few of the Hawthorn players out here, by the look of it, in training for the finals. Dermot Brereton, Gary Bacanara, Ian Payton's in there, Ken Judge, Rodney Eade. Quite a few of them enjoying the match here today, and they're seeing some good football. As we take it down now to Tony Banks, who'll be talking with one of the participants in next week's second semi-final, Josh Kendall from Frankston.
Oh, he's got the camera there, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. OK, well, Graham Kendall, the coach of Frankston, you've brought the players along today, and you've even got your own background orchestra up the top of you by the sound of it.
Yeah, that's correct. We just had a training run this morning, Tony, and we thought it'd be a good idea if we come down and had a look and sort of got into the atmosphere of a final series. So it's been an interesting game so far.
Graham, would you say that your confidence is a little bit shattered and you look like meeting one of these teams in the preliminary final, or do you think that it's just a day out for the boys? What is it?
No, our confidence is not shattered. No, you're talking obviously about the Brunswick game last week, were you, or not?
No, actually, I just wondered why you came today, because next week you play Coburg, and you should go straight into the grand final, shouldn't you?
Yeah, obviously we would expect that, but I think the main thing was to be, you know, part of the, to be here at the Junction Oval, to be a part of the atmosphere, so the players can get a little bit of a feel for the place. And you know, obviously you've got to be looking at the opposition, so it's good for them to do it firsthand.
Do you think it's possible that one of these two teams could be your opposition in the coming weeks?
Well, actually, over the last couple of seasons, we come from fourth to go into the grand final, and I think Willie did the same thing. So I don't think there's a lot of difference between the four sides, and anyone on their particular day is good enough to do it.
There's a bit of a wind advantage to the southern end here, but doesn't seem to be affecting both sides. Which team do you think? Do you think if Preston get on top with the win in this quarter, they can go on and win it?
Well, look, I sort of went for Williamstown before the game, and I'll stick to that. I think that probably, if anything, their sort of physical strength. They seem to have a few taller 6'1" running players that could be the telling factor towards the end of the game. But if Preston can keep the movement up, obviously they'll worry them. And of course, Shaw probably is the difference between the two sides right at the moment.
Okay, well, it's interesting that Phil Cleary is one of our special commentators up there today. They didn't invite you up there, so he's probably been listening pretty closely to your comments the last few minutes.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks very much. Graham Kendall, coach of Frankston.
What do you think of his comments, Phil?
Very well thought out comments indeed.
Right. A very long sentence again from Phil Cleary. All right. Williamstown 8-5-53, Preston 9-4-58. The business half of the game coming up. Umpire Casey signals to the timekeepers. Jordan shaking the wrists. And here we go for the second half of the game, and in came Kershaw, gets it out wide but taken away by Watt of Preston. Watt up towards Lamachisi, who's back on the ground. Lamachisi follows it down into the pocket with Wheeler right behind him, but it will be a throw in. In this quarter, as is indicated, we'll have Preston kicking to the right of the screen to the Fitzroy Street end of the ground. Kershaw goes in with Jordan. Kershaw knocks it straight back to the boundary and out once again. With Williamstown 8-5-53, trailing Preston 9-4-58. Preston into attack in the first few seconds of this third quarter. Ruckman move in again. Kershaw directing it out wide. Lamachisi had the run on the ball, but coming out there with it is Sate. Sate now round the wing on the outer side of the ground. The umpire blowing the whistle as Barry Round comes in to take the mark. So Barry Round plays the ball across towards the centre of the ground. Another Williamstown mark by James. James now with beautiful disposal again across towards Murphy. Murphy now from centre half forward towards centre forward. And the mark has been taken, what, about 35 metres out from goal by Fotheringham. Well within scoring range, and Fotheringham has the chance now to put Williamstown 1 point ahead. He's kicked 2 goals so far, and lining them up pretty deliberately towards the lake end of the ground. He guides it on its way, and it's through for full points. So Williamstown now on the Mitsubishi scoreboard go to 9 goals 5, with Preston on 9 goals 4. 1 point the difference. A good start for Williamstown. Gary Bryce.
Yes, an excellent passage of play there. Started off by a magnificent mark by Barry Round and followed up by just as good a mark to young Ronnie James there. Great play.
Again, the disposal of James in finding Murphy was spot on.
Yes, he's got fantastic skills. A really good little player. Got a great future.
But umpire Marcy coming in. And it's Kershaw again directing the big knockout from the ruck. It's dribbled off the ground. Moving in here is Watt. Watt swings the play out towards the stand side of the ground. The bounce of the ball eluding players, but it comes through towards McTaggart. McTaggart with a hand pass to James. James back to McTaggart. McTaggart up towards the left forward pocket. And the mark in defence for Preston. It's Gordon Towan to play the ball across towards the half-back line. Jordan comes in to take it. Jordan now with his kick, looking for Frost. Frost gets in under the ball, juggles, but the umpire calls play on as Plowman now gains possession. Plowman across short of the centre, and the mark has been taken by Hunt. Hunt eludes his opponent down towards the forward zone to Jamie Shaw. Shaw leading for the ball, traps it. Right behind him is Bridie. Shaw dragged to the ground, and the umpire will give the free kick to Bridie. So Bridie now from the right back pocket plays it around that half back line. Players come in under the ball, push back in the direction of Bryan. He then gets his kick high in the air towards Shaw. Shaw leading out, jumped but couldn't take the mark. And there was a player grabbed a bit high. And the umpire's given the free here to Owen. Owen now gets his kick in towards centre half back. Oh, Wheeler's not having a good day at all. Couldn't accept the pass. Got the push in the back, and he gets the free. So Wheeler comes in for his kick. Plays it straight out into open territory. You'll see it bounce a couple of times, but coming down to save the day for them is Smith. He gets a hand pass in. There's James dodging nicely. Gets the ball, then tried to pass it out to his teammate and Bridie. Didn't come off, and it eventually ends up back here with Charasu. Charasu towards Shaw, and Shaw leading into the pocket has taken the mark. Wheeler's having a few words to say to him from the side. He's kicked 7 goals, and you'll see the replay of this pass, and then the mark to Shaw, doubling back, pulls it in, and then Wheeler starts on him. And here's the ritual. And dries the boot that isn't wet, and now lines them up. He's going for his 8th goal here, Bruce.
What a great game he's played, Phil. He's got probably the best pair of hands in the VFA, I'd say, and he's a great kick as well.
And it's right through for full points again.
Many people think that fine engineering comes only in expensive European cars, like a totally integrated suspension system and an electronic 4-speed automatic transmission, economical and responsive. Now in Australia, Mitsubishi Magna gives you all this, plus an innovative Astron Mark II engine with the power to challenge a 6. Magna, a totally new class of car from Mitsubishi. Car Maker of the Year again.
Mitsubishi scoreboard, 59-64. Preston in front, Williamstown into attack. And Cahill got a high one there and will get a free kick. So at centre half forward, Cahill copping one over the top there. They've had the ability, Gary, Williamstown, to bounce back quickly when Preston have kicked a goal, and Cahill doesn't look all that good after this incident.
Yes, that's been the interesting part of the game. Both sides really have shown that ability to bounce straight back after looking as though the other side has taken control of the game. That's been the great feature of it so far.
19 goals, Gary, so far, and the full forwards have kicked 11 between them. Of course, only 3 to Fotheringham, but he has played well. But Shaw's been absolutely dominant.
Well, Shaw's been magnificent. We couldn't fault anything that he's done so far. He's just been, it's been one of those purple patch days.
He's had 10 kicks and kicked 8 goals. It's been really a superb performance. So Cahill is in all sorts of trouble at centre half forward, and the ball's been taken off him, and Knight will take the kick for him. It's a good kick, Phil.
Well, he's kicked a lot of goals at different times, so he must be a pretty fair sort of kick, I would think.
He's kicked 1 so far today. He would be 45 to 50 metres out. Drop punt. Didn't do it all that well to the goal square in the front spot. Towan, who's played pretty well on round. 1 bounce, 2. He's got a couple of mates to help him. He'll need them. Bryan. Smith missed with a forearm there. Salvador underneath it with Murphy. And again, it's going to be a ball up. 59-64 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. 5 points the difference. Preston in front. That's the margin they led by at half-time. Both sides have kicked 1 goal in the first 6 minutes of this third term. Kershaw and Jordan. Kershaw easily, but Lumachisi wants a free kick and will get it. No, didn't. Played for it, and it's gone to Sate. So Sate from the centre wing goes towards centre half forward. Round, big, strong mark. Smith over the back. Take your pick, but Barry's got it. Splendid mark there. Again, Preston's lack of height a problem, Gary, up forward.
I think it will be so later in the game when their smaller players who've done a great job so far start to tire. I think that marking power of Williamstown will be a real factor.
So Round from about 40 metres out, he's hooked it, and it's a behind, so it's 9-6 to 10-4. And Ian, Barry's kicked
1 goal, 3 so far in the game.
All right, and here goes the kick-off now towards the half-back line on the outer side of the ground, eludes the players out there. Lumachisi comes in, dribbles it off the ground to give him time to trap the ball. He's overrun it, and it will be Sleverson coming back at it, but moving in here now for Preston is Brown. Brown up towards the half-forward line, comes through in the direction of Watt. Watt traps the ball, went for the hand pass, and now decides to kick it across field, looking for Frost. Frost comes in on the ball, grabs it now, gets the hand pass in the direction of Lumachisi. Lumachisi having trouble handling it as well. By gee, accommodative errors there. As eventually coming in was Charasu. He got grabbed high, but the umpire allows the play to continue. Coming in here now is McTaggart. He plays it out towards the flank on the outer side of the ground. Moving in was Rickman. Rickman pushed the ball, but the umpire blows the whistle, and he's given a free to Rickman. Tony Banks.
Pretty obviously what's wrong with Lindsay Carl. He's gone straight into the rooms with a broken nose, unfortunately, and he doesn't look too well.
Right, Tony, and now play goes on as it comes across towards centre half forward for Williamstown, and it will be a ball up. The big fellow there too, and Barry Round. He livens it up when he gets out across that half forward line. Williamstown 9-6, 60, 4 points down on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Preston 10-4, 64. So umpire Casey now. Centre half forward. Round got bumped out of position then. This allows Lumachisi to come in from the side of the pack. Lumachisi with a beautiful short pass to Carlson. Carlson accepts the pass. He passes across towards Salvador. Salvador in turn to Plowman. Plowman up towards Jamie Shaw, who shepherded, but through for the minor score of 1 behind. So Preston move on to 10 goals, 5, 65. Williamstown 9-6, a total of 60. They've been playing 10 minutes into the third term. Kickoff goes to the half-back line on the outer side of the ground. It was McTaggart who gained possession. He puts it to Sate. Sate out towards the half-forward line. Comes through to Knight. Knight in turn with a short pass here, and it finds Fotheringham, who led out well from the full-forward position. So here's the chance now for Fotheringham to put Williamstown 1 point up. He's kicked 3 so far in the game, and he's only about 25 metres out from goal. He's a good kick for goal too. Very, very accurate. And as we say that, what'll he do? And he moves, puts it on its way. Goal umpire moving across. He looks up the goal post, and what's he say? It's a goal.
Because today's turbo engines run at extraordinary temperatures, your Mobil team has engineered an extraordinary oil. New Mobil Super Plus. Turbo tested to protect all engines up to a staggering 350 degrees centigrade. That's the ultimate in protection. Because if you can't cook your oil, it can't cook your engine.
They're your Mobil team.
10 minutes into the third quarter, or just over 11, and a point the difference on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. McTaggart very well smothered off the boot. That's good footy by Preston. Kicked by Prideaux. He goes short. Shaw. Brighty gets into his back. Shaw, Brighty, and also Pastore. Pastore over the top. Shaw and Brighty both having a go at one another. Left foot by Murphy. Sate's got it. He should use McTaggart. He does. McTaggart from centre wing. Knight and Kalesia in the front spot, and Kalesia gets the free kick. Captain of the under-19s goes wide to Carlson. Now here's a chance. He should use it here, Carlson, with one bounce. He's got Shaw on a lead, and he has kicked it to him, but well done, Brighty, but a free kick to Shaw. Gary Bryce.
Yes, well, of all the free kicks, I'd be a bit reluctant about that one. I think there's been worse ones that they haven't paid.
I'm shaking my head a bit, Bruce. I didn't think that really was a free kick, but it's an interesting battle there. It looked like there might have been a couple of punches thrown earlier on.
Yeah, they've really got into it, Brighty and also Shaw, and so did Fotheringham and White down the other end a little earlier on. He's kicked 8, Brycey. You'd want to put him down for 9. His kicking has been really so accurate, hasn't it, all day?
Yes, magnificent kick for goal, and you couldn't see him missing from here.
He and Fotheringham are taking it in turns, Phil, of kicking goals in this third term.
Yeah, they're doing well. I think White down the other end is giving Fotheringham just a few yards too much latitude.
So Shaw from 25 metres out, directly in front. 10-6, 10-5 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Preston a point behind. Preston 5 points in front. It's 11-5, 10-6. Down to you, Tony.
Right, well, good news for Williamstown fans, because as you can see, the young Lindsay Cale is back out. His nose is not broken. It was just a nosebleed, a bad whack on the nose, and he's ready to go on whenever he's called upon. But Dimatina's fully dressed and has a torn hamstring and won't play again.
OK, Tony, so he's probably out for the rest of the season, so that's bad luck. Let's hope it's, if they got through to the grand final, perhaps he might get up, but bad hamstring, you think he's out for sure. So it's Jordan and Kershaw. 11-5 to 10-6 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Carlson goes long. Shaw's trying to get underneath it. Wheeler, Lumachizi's got it in the pocket. Well, Terry got caught a bit there, Phil.
I think Shawry could have just about picked a free kick, actually.
Gary, things just going with Preston a bit at the moment.
Yes, and a little bit of undisciplined play creeping in from Williamstown there, where players are really taking their eye off the ball and attacking the player, and it's not going to get them any dividends at all.
So Lumachizi, who's kicked 1 so far today, has the chance to put Preston 11 points in front. It'll be the biggest break they've had. And Lumachizi has put it through for a goal. It's 12-5 to 10-6.
No matter what shape your business is in, Crown can show you a healthy way to trim costs and fatten profits.
Get your business into better shape with the Crown hydraulic lift truck. Reach new goals with the Crown Ridge truck, or move faster with the Crown pallet truck.
Let Crown show you a way to save time, space, and manpower.
Well, there you have the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Preston now gradually working their way on top. Let's see what can happen from here. Can the Williamstown side come back? It's Round, gets the knockout from the ruck. It comes down to Kershaw. Kershaw now with his kick up towards the half-forward line. Rickman coming in from behind, and Rickman has taken a big mark when needed. So Rickman a long way out from goal, but the umpire has applied a 15-metre penalty, puts Rickman well within scoring range. Remember him in this position last year? A couple of great goals. A kick out here put them in the grand final, if I remember, last year by Rickman. And here he is now, trying to stop this run of Preston. Within scoring range, it's a good roost. He'll put it well on its way. Goal umpire wants it float. It's a goal.
Step right up, folks, for the amazing Kentucky Fried Chicken box offer.
Or even better, folks, step up for the incredible bucket offer.
11 pieces for $9.50 or 16 for $13.50, only from Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But it's for a limited time, Charlie. So be quick, Frederick.
Right, now let's have comments from Tony Banks.
We're looking at Robert Perry at the moment, who's back in the coach's box, but he won't be playing. He's torn a hamstring, and he's not looking too well. The crutches just beside him.
Yes, he doesn't look too well either. But anyway, there goes the bounce of the ball. Comes out towards Round, who's working with Kershaw in the centre. No one able to get away with the ball. Trying to come through here was Kalija, and it goes out towards the boundary line, over the line and out. Outer wing. Pressure still on, only 5 points the difference. Preston leading on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. It appeared for a moment, Jordan getting the knockout from the ruck. It appeared for the moment that Preston might break away. Kershaw tried to get it away then. James got possession, but there it is, over the line. Yes, it appeared as though Preston might have been working their way on top, but there's no doubt about it. Williamstown can come back and come back hard when needed. There's Round and Kershaw going up. Kershaw getting the knockout from the ruck. Came through to Knight. Knight tried to get it further afield. Trying to break away was Brown. Brown of Preston gets it around the wing on the outer side of the ground. Moving in here is Michelli. Michelli with the Brine. Neither player gets the advantage, and the umpire will call for a throw-in. Deep on the outer wing. There's Kershaw with Jordan. Knocked well wide and over the line and out of bounds. Preston 12-5, 77. Williamstown 11-6, 72. Neither side has had a huge break here today. I think the biggest break has been about 9 points, hasn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, comes out of the pack now towards the half-forward line. There's Wheeler in defence for Williamstown, playing it up towards Round, and was that Round in front? The umpire's called play on. I think it was Round in front, but pushed forward by the pack, and the umpire has decided to come in for a ball up. Let's have a look at the replay of that. There's Barry Round. Ooh, down he went, but the player was making the ball the objective. As it comes out towards Salvador, he couldn't get it. Round gets possession now, gets it to Michelli by the look of it. The umpire blows the whistle. This could be on. The umpire's called play on and saved a little bit of a melee there. McTaggart up towards centre forward. Comes through towards Rickman. He couldn't take the mark. Here's Watt coming in. Put the boot at the ball. Pick up by Big Round. Round sends it up towards Fotheringham, who waited back there in the left forward pocket to take the mark.
Gee, Phil, Watt copped a really bad one there. Now Fotheringham's just going to chip it towards the goal square, and a goal to Smith. So Williamstown are a point in front.
This Father's Day, get Dad something different. A gift that will fulfill his innermost drives and deliver a deep and meaningful state of cleanliness to your home. Sabco Turbo Brush. Its unique pulsating action is generated inside the head, so Turbo won't quit no matter how hard you press. And Turbo's soft brush gently coaxes out built-up grime from any washable surface. Sabco Turbo Brush. It won't quit under pressure.
Right, well, there goes the bounce again. And it comes out here towards Owen. Owen couldn't break away with it. Oh, mistakes being made out there. But it'll be a free kick going to Lamachisi. No, the umpire's called play on, and it's Salvador. Boy, are they going in hard. Phil Cleary.
Well, that was one of those old-time shirt fronts, Phil, wasn't it? An absolute ripper, but I tell you what, I wouldn't like to have been on the end of it.
That's what you've tried with Phil Cleary before, Gary Bryce, isn't it?
Yes, his head is a little bit harder than Brad Salvador, unfortunately. Gratz is in a bit of pain right now. But I think he took the chance of running that little bit too far, and he copped the result. It may be a valuable lesson he's learned.
It's been pretty hard in the last 10 minutes. There's been a couple of whacks behind play and during play, and let's see if Salvador can recover. He's an important player for Preston. He's been out, of course, suspended for a few weeks. He's a good kick normally. Probably a bit far out, Gary. Do you think Shaw will provide a lead here?
I think that they've got him fairly well covered at this stage. I think he'll go for the full length to see whether he can make the distance.
Drop punts in the square. Shaw's going to take a ride, but a couple of Williamstown players in front of him. And trying to keep it in play was Hunt, Wheeler, McTaggart. Well done. Pass Torrey. Good footy to Owen. Williamstown worked that well. Owen's going to run the boundary here. And well done by Lumachisi. Great bit of footy there, Gary.
Great play by Lamatuzi. Real desperation. That's what's required today.
It's been willing, Phil. There's been very little in it, and Preston have hung in really well.
I think that both sides realise now that the pressure they apply in this next 20 minutes is going to be so crucial to winning the game.
Salvador, Lumachisi goals. What a kick. 13-5 to 12-6.
Mate Ernest, he's East Coast nerdy new accountant, and he's doing rather radical things to East Coast bosses, like these Whipper Sweats, only $19.99. East Coast double sleeve sweats, $29.99. And these very girly fleecy cardies, $29.99. Rocket stretch, completely brilliant, just $29.99. East Coast holiday hoo-ha, whoopee! Put your botties in these.
That was the third to Limachese. He deserved that one. He's been battling hard for it, but it comes out now here towards Sleverson. Sleverson down towards the forward zone, and Knight trying to take it over the head. The umpire has paid it. So can we get a quick return here again from Williamstown? Real excitement coming into this VFA first semi-final. Williamstown 12-6, a total of 78. Preston 13-5, 83. He's kicked one so far, Knight. He's about the same distance out as he had the shot from the opposite side of the ground. And on his way, we're right behind him. Oh, a little bit of jostling going on right down on the tip of the goal square. And the umpire has called a Knight down to make it almost a certainty. He's given a free, actually, to Rickman. All I could see, I was watching Knight. Did anyone see what happened there? Well, we might have a look at it because, again, after he takes the shot for goal. So here's Rickman now, moving in from directly in front, and he's put it through for 4 points. Williamstown again hitting the front. They go to 13-6 to Preston's 12 goals 5. So let's have a look at what happened to Rickman there in the goal square as he received the free with Knight about to come in and take the shot. Well, we will have it coming up in a moment. He's a big, thick-set fellow, Rickman, and was really the star of the preliminary final last year to get them into the grand final, and then almost did it again in the grand final.
Phil, it's been interesting since both Round and Kershaw have been in the centre. Rickman has played a lot better in this term. He's virtually playing as a centre half forward with a chance to rove, and he's done well.
Right, now, go on.
Now, the centre bounces, I think, are really, really crucial at the moment, though, with Round and Kershaw working together.
All right, well, we saw the replay of that incident to Rickman, and now let's see Sleverson put it up towards the centre forward zone, and the umpire has given the mark down here to Towan of Preston. So Gordon Towan looking for Frost out on the flank, but he puts it up here to Salvador. Salvador jammed in between players, and the big one taken by Kershaw, but the free kick will be taken by Jordan, who was in there. Now Jordan now with his kick towards the centre of the ground, and again a mark taken by Bryan of Preston. So they're gradually working it up towards the forward line. The little fellow Carlson comes out, pushed away from him, comes out towards the boundary line. Oh, grab when not in possession was Charasu. The umpire hasn't blown the whistle, has now with it going over the line. So on the forward line for Preston, pressure starting to show on players at the 24.5-minute mark here into the third term. Knocked away by Plowman, gets it well wide, but Murphy comes through in defence for the Seagulls. Up towards centre half forward, Barry Round tried a one-hander, couldn't come off. And here's the chance, holding the ball, called the crowd, but Preston get it clear up towards the half-forward line. Tapped wide by Murphy. Coming into it now is Pastore. Pastore couldn't get away with it. Kicked wide of the pack. There's Wheeler moving in. Wheeler tried to force his way through, was grabbed by the legs, but the umpire has decided to call it back for a ball up.
That's unbelievable umpiring. He pays a Tiggy Touchwood free kick in the goal square, and players throw themselves on the ball, get jumped on, and get no reward.
I think they've put the whistle away for the last quarter.
Are you two criticising the umpire?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Phil Cleary says he's not. He has to play next week. Wheeler now taps it wide of players. It's Watt who comes through with it. Down towards the forward zone. Jamie Shaw indicating he wants it wide. It wasn't a bad-looking pass, but here's mistakes being made right, left and centre, and it's eventually put over the line and out of bounds. That was Salvador who came right down then, pushed off balance and put it over the line. Frustration, I say, is showing here, Bruce.
Well, they've had some chances, Preston, Phil. They really, I think, should be 2 or 3 goals in front at this stage, and Salvador had a chance there. Shaw had a chance. Williamstown defending very strongly. It's 84-83 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Kershaw's tap. Murphy. Handball to Sleverson. Oh, gee, I'm glad he missed that. Sleverson's kick towards the centre wing. Round at the back. Thrown out there by Kalesia. Jordan did well there to break a tackle, and then a high one. This is going to be difficult. Salvador, almost. Gee, Lumachisi should have got one and has got one.
Well, he didn't pay it last time. I think he realised his mistake and he's paid it this time. Great inconsistency by the umpire.
I think the umpires might have heard Gary yelling out about that one, actually, and they've made up for it.
Well, he's kicked 3, the little fellow, and he's probably as far out as you'd want. He'd be 45, 50 metres. Drop punt, timed it well, but offline, and scores a level. So we're into time on in the 3rd quarter, and it's dead level. 13-6 to 13-6 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. It's been a very, very good game. Gary, it's going to be a case of which team I think can just keep going and keep their head and make use of their opportunities.
Yes, I think, Preston, you've hit on the head that the number of times they have the opportunity but just fritter it away with bad play. It's unbelievable, but it's been magnificent this quarter for desperation by both sides.
Really enjoying it. Much like the final series last year, we had a great round of 4 matches, and I think we're in for some very good games again this season. So Towan, who was going to take the free kick, has given it to Carlson. Carlson had a good patch in the 2nd quarter. He's important because he kicks the ball so well. Drop punt. He comes to centre half forward. Watt's going to take a ride at the back. Kershaw at the front. And that was really wasted by Preston there. Handball to Sate. Sate goes wide towards centre wing. He's looking for Round at the back. He's just a bit too tall for Towan. And Barry Round has played a very consistent game all day to Sate. Handball not good. Sate had to wait for it. Then round his body. Now Rickman will come in from the side. He loves to do that. Sleverson. Bryan, the captain for Preston, with a left footer, is a good one. And finds Carlson on the centre wing. He's got a couple of players in the centre of the ground looking for it, but he's going to go to Jordan. Mashali comes in late. Mashali. So Jordan from the centre wing. Plowman's giving him a lead at centre half full. Scores dead level. Goal here would be most important just before 3/4 time. But again, Kershaw, Phil Cleary.
It's ridiculous play. I don't like to knock players, but that's twice they've kicked straight to Kershaw. You just can't understand it. They've got to keep the ball away from him.
And again, Kershaw's going to go to Sate as he did to Gary last
They should
time.
be dropping it in short and keeping Kershaw out of the play. They're just kicking it long and playing right into Williamstown's hands.
So Rickman, who's been really the danger man in this term, he and Fotheringham have both kicked 2 goals each in this quarter for Williamstown. And he's such a magnificent kick, you wouldn't even put this beyond him. Fotheringham's doing the right thing by keeping out of the goal square. Rickman would be 60 metres out. Drop punt. It's a long one. It's not straight. Smith at the back and forced through, and Williamstown lead by a point. It's 13-7 to 13-6.
Yes, Williamstown hitting the front at the 29-minute mark into the 3rd quarter. What a great final quarter we have coming up. Kick-off about to be taken by Towan. Comes out. Oh, he's put it out of bounds. And the free kick will be taken by Rickman. Well, Rickman gets another chance. Players making leads galore down the half-forward line. And he's accepted a player moving into position. And a good mark taken out here by Sate. He's starting to dominate a bit too, Sate. It's his 15th kick. And he's on a 45-degree angle. It's his 9th kick this quarter, so he's done well. Puts it on its way, and it drips back. It looked as though it was going to miss. And 4 points on the board to Williamstown. They move to 14 goals, 7 with Preston, 13 goals, 6. He's been working well in this quarter, Gary.
He has. He's combined it very well with Kershaw and Round at the centre bounces, but he's also linking up well on the forward line. He's had an excellent quarter.
Well, do you feel now, Phil Cleary, that Williamstown may be just working their way on top?
You would think so, Phil, but then again, Preston's mistakes really have been the reason why they've lost the lead.
Yeah, mistakes across that half-forward line, and they haven't been just minor mistakes, they've been terrible mistakes. All right, up they go, and it's Kershaw getting the knockout from the ruck. Comes down to Sate again. Sate puts the boot to the ball towards the half-forward line. Barry Round tried to take a one-hander. There he is in possession again. He passes it well wide out towards Rickman. Rickman lines them up. Bang, it's on its way. It's a goal. And Williamstown getting right on top. They've gone to 15-7 to Preston's 13-goal 6. And that was the third goal, kicked then by Rickman. And that was the third goal kicked by Rickman in this quarter.
Well,
Yes?
as I know only too well, he's a very dangerous player from last year.
What magnificent play by Barry Round, though, to get that handball, was magnificent handball out. Rickman was 25 metres on his own, and Round, perfect handball out to him.
All right, Tony Banks will be going out on the ground as soon as the siren goes. But on the bounce, the umpire's blown the whistle and will ball it up again. Sate moved out of there, looking as though he wanted it.
Phil, what an important 2 or 3 minutes this has been. Williamstown have gone from a position of probably being down at three-quarter time to having a 2-and-a-bit goal lead.
Yes, and a lot of it through the mistakes of Preston when they got it onto their forward line. Now here's the chance for them. It's Frost with the ball, a hand pass here to Carlson. Carlson now with a hand pass, and here's the chance for Salvador on its way, and it's through for 4 points. Have they come back? Preston now 14-6-90, 7 points down on Williamstown, 15-7, a total of 97. And that was the second goal kicked by Salvador. And great play, Preston coming back, but can they hold them? Gary Bryce.
Well, it's still anybody's game at this stage, Phil. I wouldn't like to predict what's going to happen, but a great comeback by Preston again, and just exactly what they should be doing, running the ball forward, not kicking it long and high into the forward zone.
Long quarter, 32.5 minutes here in this third term, but all being set up for a great great final quarter. Being pushed along down towards Preston's forward line. No one able to break away with the ball as yet. It will be a ball up again as Salvador eventually threw himself into the pack. Pat on the back for Salvador. They're appreciating his 2 quick goals. And now let's see, with the ball being bounced, Round going, staying wide of Kershaw. Because Kershaw had the run on the ball, tapped down to Knight. Knight now kicks it up towards the forward zone, looking for Rickman again, but it beats him over the line and out of bounds. So we have on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, Williamstown 15-7-97, Preston 14-6-90. Be difficult to see who the Mitsubishi best player is at this stage, Bruce.
We've had some good players. Phil, Round's been particularly good. There's been a number of good players for Preston and some very good players for Williamstown. So the last quarter is going to be very important there. Brown's kick is out of bounds, and it'll be a free kick. Kershaw might even come up a bit further than that and go to Owen. So 97-90. It's been a really long quarter here. Preston have kicked 5 goals in this quarter, and Williamstown have kicked 7. They've kicked 7-2 to 5-1. So it's going to be Owen from the half-forward flank. Could only be seconds remaining. And for Preston's sake, it's important they can hold Williamstown here and not get another goal. Owen's high drop punt. Getting underneath it, it looked like Smith almost took a good mark. Bryan over the top. He's been given the job of standing Rickman. So three-quarter time on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Williamstown 15-7-97, lead Preston 14-6-90.
And here's Eddie Maguire now to talk with Preston coach Peter Waitman.
Well, Peter, I know you're anxious to get down onto the ground. 7 points down. Can you get up?
We can get up. No worries about that.
In the centre, Round and Kershaw dominating. How are you going to counter that?
We just got to get the ball and it hits the ground. Simple as that.
What are some of the moves you're going to make in this last quarter?
Haven't got time now, mate. Sorry about that.
OK, Peter, all the best for the last quarter.
OK, thank you very much, Eddie, and to Peter Waitman for sparing the time. He's in the box next to us and he has to get down to his side. And there he goes. We'll probably get a shot of him racing down there while he's on his way. But just repeating the three-quarter time scores on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. We have Williamstown 15-7-97, leading Preston 14-6, a total of 90.
From international bestseller Arthur Haley comes Strong Medicine, starring Sam Neill, Dick Van Dyke, Patrick Duffy, and Pamela Sue Martin. They made a killing selling life-saving drugs until they made one fatal mistake. Strong Medicine, coming soon on 10.
Most people believe the only place you'll find craftsmanship today is in a museum. But there is someone in Melbourne who's still fussy about old-fashioned quality. like this West Australian Jarrah Lounge by Swan Valley, and these natural timber low-line wall units by Mitre, or this classic solid beechwood table by Jackson. You'll find them all at the Fussy Furniture Fella's 3 warehouses, Clayton, East Keilor and Thomastown. He still believes in real quality at warehouse prices.
Oh, Jaffers!
Well, hi-ho, Silver, it's Jaffers time.
The nightcap balls that are just divine.
Jaffers ain't flat, they're not even square.
Whoa, Jaffers. They're chocolatey balls with orange coating.
Roll around your mouth and keep on floating.
Shake those Jaffers round your big long tongue.
Making it sound like clunk, clunk,
So
clunk.
flippity-flip and hippity-hop. Roll your body down to a Jaffa shot, 'cause life's a ball with Jaffas, yeah. Life's a ball with Jaffas, yeah. Life's a ball.
Hey, Wally. Yeah? Here's some more Sunlover holidays.
Sunlover?
Yeah, Sunlover holidays in Queensland.
Ah, like bear boating in the Whitsundays, or a shot at the casino. Not forgetting the Barrier Reef and tropical Cairns.
With over 300 value-pack Sunlover holidays, you'd be a nice block night to holiday in Queensland. Hey, Wally.
Book your wonderfully warm Sunlover holiday through your Queensland Government Travel Centre or talk to your travel agent.
Ah, Queensland. Beautiful one day, perfect the next.
For pasta, you can't go pasta. You can't go past Denny's. 24 hours a day.
Well, here we are back at the ground, and coaches would be working overtime. A quick word now from Tony Banks, and then we'll have commentary from our experts.
Thanks very much, Phil. With me at the moment is Bruce Davis, the assistant coach of the Williamstown team. 7 goals that quarter, not a bad effort, but it's goal for goal, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say the standard of footy's been great though, Tone. You know, it's just slogging, hard sort of work, and no side seems to be able to get a break.
What are you suggesting the first team that sort of starts putting it together can go away with it?
Yeah, possibly. You know, we're not playing well. This is not our best game by far, but Preston, they always seem to fire up against us, you know. We work hard against them.
You certainly like the close ones, don't you?
Yeah, well, we want to give the football public their money. Yeah.
Okay, well, they're certainly getting their money's worth today. 7 points the difference at three-quarter time. Let's go back up to the experts.
Well, thank you, Tony. And now we have our experts up here, and Gary Bryce, first of all. Your summary on the game, Gary?
Yes, well, I think 2 telling things have happened for the Williamstown side. One, that they've used Barry Round and Kim Kershaw in the centre and have got the ball continually out of the centre during that quarter. The other thing that's worked for them is the movement of to Rickman to centre half forward, and also Fotheringham's become a very good full forward for them. Early in the game, those 2 players were really getting in one another's road, but now they're combining very well and have allowed them to pile on quite a few goals this quarter. But Round's really taken control, not only in the ruck, but he's done some magnificent things at centre half forward. Shaw, unfortunately, as Phil mentioned to me during the quarter, he stopped leading completely at full forward, and the smaller players of the Preston side have stopped running the ball forward. They're preferring just to bombard the ball long and hope that the ball can be marked, instead of being more positive, as we saw at that passage of play where Grat Salvador kicked the goal at the end, where they linked up with 3 or 4 handballs. They have to do that, particularly this quarter into the wind, if they're going to have any chance of winning this game.
Well, listening to the assistant coach there, Phil Cleary, he seems to be a bit edgy about Preston coming back.
I think Preston's only chance is to run the ball out of defence. I'd go handball mad for the last quarter. Even though they're only 7 points down, Williamstown's aerial strength is going to be very hard for them to get over in the last quarter. I just tell them to run the ball out of defence all the time, and I would really tell Jamie Shaw to start leading more. I think he started to stay back in the goal square too much. I mean, he was exciting early, but we've dropped off him a bit, actually. So come on, Spider. I'm hoping he really puts in a big quarter, makes a big game of it.
All right, comments then from Gary Bryce, Phil Cleary. Now to Ian for the statistics on the game to three-quarter time.
Preston goal kickers to three-quarter time. We've only got 3 players kicking their 14 goals. Shaw with 9, Lumachisi 3 and Salvador with 2. For Williamstown, we have 3 to Smith, 4 to Fotheringham, 3 to Rickman, all coming in that third quarter, 2 to Sate, 1 each to Knight, Round and Slevenson. So far as a team possessions are concerned, a very even game to three-quarter time. Williamstown 160 possessions, Preston 164. Kicks 131 Williamstown, 135 Preston. Marks, Williamstown becoming stronger in the air with 48, Preston 45. Free kicks 19 to 27 and handballs 29 each.
Well, both coaches boring it right into their players there with those camera shots we had. There's Terry Wheeler. Must make you feel at home, Gary, seeing those fellas?
Yes, it does. It brings back a few memories, and at times I think, yes, it'd be nice to be involved, but I'm quite happy to have had the year out.
All right, and there we have it. Williamstown 15-7, 97, 7 points up on Preston, 14-6, a total of 90.
Aspro Clear is a most advanced form of pain-relieving aspirin. Aspro Clear is totally soluble, and so is rapidly absorbed to work quickly and effectively. To help relieve headache, to help reduce fever, to help relieve body aches and pains. Use only as directed, and if pain persists, see your doctor. Every day, more and more Australians place their trust in Aspro Clear. Aspro Clear, totally soluble and works fast.
On Saturdays, Alex goes to work. What can Bosch do for you this weekend?
Pascal clinkers are my favourites. I love the tangy, fruity flavours and the smooth milk chocolate coating. Don't know why they call them clinkers, though. Sounds more like a crunch than a clink to me.
What's your favourite, Pascal?
Clinkers.
Righto, back here and on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, Williamstown 15-7, 97, leading Preston 14-6, 90. 7 points the difference. Can Preston come back? They're certainly capable of it. Williamstown lost to them twice this year, Ian, haven't they?
That's right, and both times they've lost by significant margins.
I don't think that'll be the case today. Let's have a look at the scores quarter by quarter. You'll see them for the first, the second, the third. It's been a very close game all the way through. Lead seesawing right throughout the match. The umpire just waiting for the ground to be completely cleared, and here we go with the signal to the timekeepers in what should be a great final quarter. Umpire Marcy coming in, Kershaw waiting around the pack, and there goes the bounce round and Kershaw getting it out. It's shot down towards the centre forward zone, looking for Rickman, who tried to tap it back to his teammate Knight, but coming in there was Bryan to try and get it away. Rickman picks it up, he shoots it up towards Fotheringham, who's too far under the ball, and this allows Gordon Towan to come in defence. Towan to the centre to Watt. Watt now grabbed, and the 15-metre penalty might be applied. No, the umpire's not going to apply it, but this allows the backmen of Williamstown to pick up their men. There goes the kick up towards the half-forward line. They rise for it. Failing to take the mark was Murphy, but Murphy comes out with a hand pass here, but Lamachizi's the man in front. Lamachizi having a battle with Wheeler. Wheeler couldn't gain control. Lamachizi puts it across to Carlson, and Carlson comes in to take the mark. He screws it around, but it's not a good one. But it eventually ends up here with Jordan. Jordan coming down towards an open goal, and he's put it through for full points. What a confidence builder that one is, Gary Bryce.
Magnificent play by Neil Jordan there. Fantastic. He's really lifted them, and I think Preston, if that doesn't give them something to go on with, well, they don't deserve to be here.
15-6 to 15-7, and here it is in replay with Jordan coming downfield. Look around, one bounce, nearly lost it there for the moment, but through for the full points on the board. Umpire Graham Marcy now looking around. Every player in position. Here we go with the bounce, and Kershaw coming in from the side. Big knockout from Kershaw, down to Smith. Smith now pursuing the ball, being tackled by Bryan, and it'll be a free kick going to Smith. Bryan grabbed him when the ball was well away, and Smith now looks for the lead, but they're all covered, bar Sate down here right in the goal square. Went up towards Rickman, failed to take the mark. Fotheringham back to Rickman, Rickman to Sate, and Sate turns around and put it through for full points. Well, Phil Cleary, you can see that coming off a mile away.
The real problem, Phil, I think, is the centre bounces, though. I mean, they're just getting thrashed in the centre bounce. You can't win if every time the opposition gets the ball out of the centre.
You could see Saite sneaking into the goal.
Yeah, it was set up well, but I still think the centre bounce is where they can win the game.
All right, Saite has kicked 3 so far as we have umpire Marcy coming in for the bounce with Williamstown 16-7, Preston 15-6.
Yeah, Brian.
And here it goes again. Can they get away with the same move? It's James who got it out this time to Sleverson. Sleverson up towards centre half forward. Comes through towards Saite, who's nailed, shirt fronted. Down he goes. Over the top of them goes Little Smith, but the umpire comes in for a ball up again at centre half forward. Big Barry Round in there. Jordan has come down to try and match it with them. Also wide is Lamachisi waiting for the crumbs. And in comes the bounce.
And it's going to be Towan and Round against one another. Quick kick by Towan. Frost's handball to Prideaux. Prideaux goes wide. Now Lawson's come onto the ground as Brown's gone off for Preston. Tap on there by Pastore, who hasn't had a lot of touches but has done all right. Owen's kicked to the pocket. He's got Smith and he's found him. Now Fotheringham's in the goal square. James wants it short. Rickman wants it at centre half forward. But Smith tucked away in the pocket. He's going to have a shot. 3 goals so far, 7 points the difference. Drop punt, good kick, very good kick. Fotheringham with the back, touched, and it's through for a behind. So 15 goals, 6 Preston, 96, 16-8, 104 Williamstown on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. White with a little one to himself and then goes wide. He's hoping that Jordan can make it. Gee, they're asking the big fella to do a couple of enormous jobs in this last term. They need as much energy from him as they can get. Mashali to James. James goes short to the pocket and finds Fotheringham. And the danger there, Gary, had about 3 options there. He had Rickman, Knight or Fotheringham, which suggests that Preston are starting to struggle just a touch. So Fotheringham in the pocket. Kicked 4 so far today. Hasn't been as spectacular as Shaw, who's kicked 9, but he's done a good job, and that's a great kick. That's a goal. Straight through. 17-8, 15-6.
For anybody who wants a few moments of peace on the way to a concert, or just enjoys a quiet conversation, Mitsubishi Magna is your car. Superbly quiet, so you can hear every note, every word. Magna, a totally new class of quiet. From Mitsubishi, car maker of the year, again.
Playing now for almost 5 minutes, 14 points the difference. The final quarter for one of these teams for season 1986. Going in hard there now is Salvador. He can't pick it up. Finally comes out wide to the big fella Jordan. Jordan with the hand pass to Lumachisi. Lumachisi twists back, gets the long hand pass in towards Frost, but it's intercepted there by Michelli. Michelli gets a hand pass intercepted now. Scraggling play there, falling on top of the ball finally, and the umpire comes in and will bounce. Pressure right on both of these sides now. We've been playing just on 6 minutes into the final quarter. Kershaw and Jordan. Kershaw tries to take it out of the ruck. He's grabbed, dropping the ball. Should have been a decision, but the umpire says he'll bounce once again.
I think that was definitely holding the ball. If the big man takes a chance there, I think he's got to have it played against him.
Salvador takes the ball out of the ruck. Over towards Carlson, who picks up beautifully there with the one hand. Twisting and turning now. Swings onto the left foot with his 15th kick. Goes up forward. Shaw waits for the crumbs. It's off hands, though. James leads the race with the ball. Picks up and has a bounce. He's got nobody leading up to him on the wing. Comes back onto the left foot. Kicks wide up there. Flying up high was McTaggart. Off hands to Saite. Saite's chip along the wing position. Goes out towards the boundary line, picked up by Smith. He eludes the tackle brilliantly, gets the handball to McTaggart. He goes round a player. It's crunched by Prideaux, and dropping the ball is the decision.
He was a bit high there, Eddie, but he certainly had his opportunities, but the tackle by Prideaux was a little high. Now, screw punt towards centre half forward. Salvador from the side, thumped away by Wheeler. Preston have got to move a bit here. They've got to give for their players in the back line something to kick to. Jordan missed the body by Bryan. Mistakes again. Now Frost. Can he do something with it? Shaw's going to give him a lead. It's a good kick. Well done by Brighty. Shaw from the side. Kicked on by Carlson. Picked up there by Hunt. Hunt too slow. Wheeler's handball. Good one to McTaggart. And Preston looking in a bit of trouble now as McTaggart goes towards centre half forward. Sate in the front spot. Bryan gets rid of Round easily. Short towards Jordan, who's been a very good player, though he's caught by Michelli and holding the ball. Gary, I've got the impression they're just asking the big fella to do too much at the moment.
Yes, well, they really did give him a hard time in the third quarter, the Williamstown ruckman, and now the way that the Preston players are kicking the ball to him, it's just impossible for him to do what they want him to do.
Michelli, who's been a ferocious player since he's come on the ground, kicks up, and once again it's the big fella, Barry Round. Round straight away to Rickman, but Rickman loses control of the ball and allows Collegia there to come in with a long kick forward. Going up high was Plowman. He comes along the outer side, of the member side of the ground for the left foot kick. Once again, though, Williamstown are going to be able to come out of the back line without any pressure. It goes to James. James now with the hand pass on. His player is his teammate there, Owen, was under a lot of pressure. Coming through was Towan hard for the Preston side. Rickman's hand pass was astray. Lumachisi runs hard for the ball, dives on top of it, shows courage. He's grabbed by two opponents, and the umpire will come in and bounce.
17-8, 15-6, Williamstown, 14 points in front. Round with a tap, Lumachisi. A lot of kicks, I'll check with Ian in just a moment. 12 kicks today, most of them in the second half. Murphy towards Sleverson. It sat for him pretty well, and he did well, and he's got Sate. Throw. Umpire in the best position there, no doubt about that. Now, Gary, they're going to have to set something up from here. Charasu.
Yes, they look very tired at the moment, Preston. They're not even attempting to get the ball moving quickly. They're quite happy to go back, take their kick, but they're taking far too long.
Fotheringham at the back with White. They've juggled now Sate, who's been a very good player after half-time. His pace is too good there. He's had 19 kicks today. Collegia, he looks a very promising player from the under-19s, to Carlson. And Carlson has to go back because he's got 3 Williamstown opponents and nobody to kick it to. 15-metre penalty. Carlson from the centre of the ground. Preston 14 points down. They've worked very hard today to get themselves in this position. Prideaux, Lumachisi's wide on the member side, but he's going to go direct towards Shaw on a long lead. It's not going to quite get that far. Salvador was looking for the crumbs. Kershaw did well, the big fellow. It's all slow motion, but he did it well to Pastore, to McTaggart, and away go Williamstown to James.
James now with a paddock to run in. Goes for the short pass out towards Sleverson. Sleverson can run in and goal now if he likes, but he's taken too long. He's made his angle impossible, and great play there by Collegia to come in and smother.
Far too long there, the Williamstown players, but very slow. The Preston team look very tired.
I think Gary's dead right. In the middle of the ground, they're just not breaking the game up at all and running it, and they'll get killed if they keep up with that sort of style.
Barry Round to come in to do the ruck work with Towan. Round uses his body well, gets the tap. Sleverson on top of the ball, can't pick it up, tries to come back inside. Towan dives on top of it, and there'll be a ball up about 50 metres out from the goal.
17-8, 15-6, 14 points the difference.
Round and Towan once more. Neither ruckman get an effective tap, but Towan recovers well and gets the kick, but the kick is a shocker and finds Michelli. Michelli has been told to kick long. He has Round in the square. Too far out to score, probably. He'd be 55 to 60 metres out from goal. He's going to use the torpedo punt. Wobbly off the boot. Round at the front of the pack, goes up, can't take the mark. Umpires paid it, though, to Towan. Gordon Towan has leads from Prideaux in the pocket. A fight going on just in front of the goal square there between White and Fotheringham. But the kick out from Towan was a shocker and only was effective in finding Kevin Sate, who will line up from about 50 metres out from goal. Sate also coming into kick now, has leads from Rickman, decides to ignore them. Kicks long with the drop punt up towards Round in the square. Smith across the front, but it's punched through for one behind.
So Sate's 20th kick, rush through for a behind, 17-9 to 15-6. Thanks for that, Eddie. Eddie vacating the chair and Phil coming back in. And White from full back. Preston 15 points down and desperately needing a goal. Smith just takes it so easily off Hunt and then takes on an opponent Kick not all that good, but Fotheringham almost took it there. Really had an opportunity, Fotheringham, to take advantage of a good bounce. With him is Prideaux. Fotheringham lucky not to be penalised for dropping the ball. Towan takes Knight on and then kicks with a little one towards Plowman, but again a shocking kick by Townman. Murphy's little left footer, not good. Charasu will take the mark and get the free kick. So now to White, he's playing the advantage. Preston 15 points down. White's kick towards the centre. Missed there by Watt. Gee, they've made some errors, Preston. Murphy's got it and is going to go wide to Fotheringham. It sits for Fothers. He's going to take a couple on his court and holding the ball. Gee, Gary, both sides making mistakes. Preston can still win, but they really shouldn't be in it at this stage.
Well, they shouldn't. They're making so many errors with disposal that they shouldn't be as close as they are. Their back line's really working very hard, but letting themselves down when they get to that centre and half-forward line with the disposal.
All right, it's wide of the centre. Hunt gets a hand pass in. It comes back here in the direction of Plowman. Plowman has the chance to try and get it down on the half-forward line for the Preston side, but Jamie Shaw has surprised me. Watching him there in his last couple of leads, he hasn't been leading out as he did in the first half of the game, and the players haven't really been playing to him. Anyway, it comes wide. Now here's the opportunity for Williamstown to get it right upfield once again as McTaggart comes into play. McTaggart to the half-forward line, but the mark will be taken down here in the last line of defence for Preston by Gordon Towan. Towan's kick towards the half-forward line, looking for Salvador, who goes up, pulls in the mark. They need to keep the ball moving now as they've been playing a total of 14 minutes. But it's prop and kick here at the present time. Well, he's got his 15 metres, but he probably would have been better playing on and keeping the momentum going for the Preston side. Up it goes now towards Jamie Shaw. Shaw being bustled out of position by Briarty, and Briarty comes out with the mark. He plays it to the half-back line to Wheeler. Wheeler now will put the ball into open territory, the wing on the outer side of the ground, beating the players over and out. Scores on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Williamstown 17-9, 111 to Preston's 15-6, 96. Okay, waiting for the ball to come back into play. Preston got it on their forward line, couldn't convert. Let's see what can happen now. Can they get it away from the packs? Coming in from behind was Bryan. He couldn't get to the ball, though. It comes down with the opportunity now for James to the hand pass. No, he's decided on the foot pass. He saw Knight coming downfield. Knight, though, wasn't quite there when the ball came over. It comes through to Carlson. Now, can Carlson go with a bit of accuracy? A kick towards the... or has the kick smothered? And Bryan now coming in over the top of Sleverson, but it comes wide out here in the direction of Smith. Smith now of Williamstown from the half-forward line up towards the forward zone. Fotheringham under it, and Fotheringham takes 2 grabs, and that's it. Couple of metres out from goal, right in the goal square. He's kicked 5, and look at this for a mark. Couple of bites at the cherry, strong mark, and the one needed, I'd say, to seal the game. 1 grab, 2. And there he goes, right in front. And it's a goal to Williamstown.
Aspro Clear is a most advanced form of pain-relieving aspirin. Aspro Clear is totally soluble and so is rapidly absorbed to work quickly and effectively. To help relieve headache, to help reduce fever, to help relieve body aches and pains. Use only as directed, and if pain persists, see your doctor. Every day, more and more Australians place their trust in Aspro Clear. Aspro Clear, totally soluble and works fast.
18-9 to 15-6 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. Problems, Gary Bryce and Phil Cleary for Preston.
Yes, well, the mistakes they're making just cost them too dearly, and that's a prime example there at Carlson trying to run too far, using the wrong side of his body when he's a left footer, going out too wide, and the rebound has just killed them every time.
Yeah, just not enough numbers around the ball, running and helping each other out. That's what, as Gary said, they're running away, but not sort of just creating the play at all.
And here's where the problems are starting for Preston, with Round and Kershaw both in the centre. Left foot kick by Watt towards centre half forward. And Michelle's handball. Wanted Wheeler, couldn't quite get to him. Lumachisi was a bit unlucky not to get a free kick there. Michelle to Wheeler this time to Pastore. They're really starting to combine well and find some confidence. Sate with his 21st kick goes to Sleverson. Sleverson from the centre wing. Drop punt. Knight on the lead. Couldn't quite take it. Rickman Does, steadies. He's a good kick, this fellow. Takes forever. Little one by Bryan. Good footy that time to Jordan. Now go to Charasu, and he should go over the top to Carlson in a hurry. He does now, but it was too late. It should have been a quicker movement. Plowman, Carlson, they've played the 1-2. McTaggart knows he's a left footer. Carlson can't do anything but play it into the pocket. That's the difference, unfortunately, Gary, the indirectness compared with when Smith got the ball 5 minutes ago and banged it to Fotheringham.
Well, it was poor choice by Charasu because he knows that Carlson can't kick with the right foot. He's given it to him running in that direction. He would have been much better kicking the ball long and letting Carlson run up to the next kick.
Kershaw in the ruck, 117 to 96. Got a real grip on the game now. Kick by Lumachizi towards full forward. Wheeler's got it. Wheeler goes wide towards Sleverson. Knight and also Kalesia. Prideaux, hip and shoulder by Wheeler. Prideaux did well there as he got it to Watt. Watt with a left footer, not good. Gary Bryce.
Oh, he's run again too far. He was steady. All he had to do was to kick the ball. He's tried to run another 5 metres and been put under tremendous pressure. Full credit to Williamstown for continuing to chase.
21 points the difference in Williamstown's favour on the Mitsubishi scoreboard at the 18.5-minute mark. They've still got time if they can tidy up their game. Lumachizi takes the mark. He didn't waste any time, takes a snapshot for goal, and he's put it through for full points.
When the croak gets beyond a joke, try Allen's Butter Menthol. The butter soothes the throat, the menthol clears the head. Allen's Butter Menthol.
Here we have the bounce at the 19-minute mark into the final quarter, and the opportunity for Sleverson to come in, but Sate, who's played particularly well today, has a hand pass out here towards Smith. Smith now goes for the shot down towards Fotheringham, who comes out and doesn't let him down. Very appreciative crowd. Fotheringham has kicked 6.
Look, I really, as I was saying before, I think that centre bounce is just ridiculous. I can't see how a big bloke like Round can come in, grab the ball, run through uncontested. Even a small player can put a tackle on him.
Yeah, right.
They should be sending Town in to contest with him, and they're just leaving the 2 big blokes in there. They've cut them to pieces.
And here's Fotheringham now, lighting them up with his usual accuracy, and he puts it through for his 7th goal.
In a world beyond the imagination. A world of fantasy. And evil.
I told you there was no mistake.
The Ewoks are back in an all-new adventure. Ewoks and the Marauders of Endor.
Now showing at Hoyt City and Suburbs, Brighton Bay, Geelong, Picks, Wonthaggi and Rosebud.
Preston still in trouble on that Mitsubishi scoreboard, 123 to 102, and we're at the 20.5-minute mark into the final quarter. Umpire Marcy coming in with Cale about to come back on the ground by the look of it. Comes down to James. James gets a little short kick in, punched away by Big Barry Round here. Down towards Smith. Smith turning around, gets it wide out in the direction of teammate Rickman. Rickman has it taken away from him. Looks like Jordan going around the... It's Frost going around the flank there. Gets the kick in wide of the centre. Trying to come in and take it was Plowman. He gets pushed aside, and eventually it comes out from Lawson. Out wide in towards this time Charasu. Charasu up towards the forward zone. Now here's the opportunity with Salvador trying to get in there, but the umpire will blow the whistle and ball it up.
Well, that was a bad mistake there. I thought he had the ball then and dropped it for some reason. I couldn't understand why he tried to back into it, Salvador. He had it clear and let it go.
Knight coming off and Cale coming back after getting that whack in the second term or third quarter, and gets a round of applause as he comes on. 16-6, 102 Preston, 19-9, 123 Williamstown, and we've been playing 21.5 minutes in this final quarter. So Williamstown certainly in the box seat now to go through to the preliminary final to play either Frankston or Coburg in a fortnight's time, and they defeated Preston in last year's first semi-final. Quick kick by Hunt, taken by No, Shelley, who's played very well since he's been on. Kick towards James, who's got a paddock. One bounce. Now the left-footer towards Rickman. Not all that good a kick that time. Frost on Rickman at the moment. Towan. Kick around his body, but no one to kick it to, and Wheeler takes the mark. So it's all falling down, unfortunately, for Preston, who played so very well for 3 quarters. Wheeler's high drop punt. Rickman taking a run at it. Towan in the front spot. Round over the back. Has been an excellent player. Tapped by Pastore. Still Big Barry round to Rickman. And free kick against Rickman for taking too long, holding the ball, and it'll go to Jordan. Sun shining at the Junction Oval. It's been a really good day for football. Not a lot of wind about. Cool conditions. Jordan towards centre. Salvador takes the mark. Gratz has struggled a bit today, kicked a couple of goals in that 3rd quarter. Goes wide towards Watt, but unfortunately, Hunt, unfortunately they keep missing the body, Preston, and in doing so they're liable to make mistakes. Free kick there to Hunt on the half-forward flank. It's a good kick normally. Shaw with the lead. He's looking for his 10th goal. Brighty, who's done very well since halfway through the 3rd quarter, and it's going to be a ball in. So it's 123 to 102. Shaw's kicked 9, Fotheringham's kicked 7.
And out of Shaw's 9, he kicked 7 of those in the first half.
And Fotheringham really has been the dominant full forward since half-time with 5 of his 7. Handball back to Hunt. Hunt with a left foot around his body. Shaw, front spot, still couldn't take it. Plowman and also Brighty. And it's going to be a ball in. He's lost a bit of confidence, I think, Gary and Phil Cleary.
Well, he's like the nursery rhyme story. When he's good, he's very good, but when he's bad, he's horrid. And the ball straight through his hands in, so obviously he's not concentrating on the game at all.
Would have been such a different result, possibly, if he just kept up a fairly average game in the second half.
Handball over the top by McTaggart to Wheeler. Shaw went down behind play there with Brighty. The kick into the centre by Wheeler. He's looking for round. Big Barry, can he raise a gallop? He can. He did it okay. But Cahill, the handball wasn't good. And Collegia with a handball to Towan. Still Preston working from half-back to centre half-forward to Bryan. And can the captain get them going? Shaw's on a long lead. Bryan decides to ignore it and go towards full forward. And Shaw's got back in time and taken the mark. So he's got the chance to kick his 10th. And Phil Gibbs, it's in time on now as we go over towards the 25-minute mark. But a goal here would keep them alive.
Yes, I'd say they've got about 6 minutes of play left. But he needs to get the goal first. He goes through his usual ritual, but has kicked 9 so far, Bruce. And probably the 10th coming up here.
It's been a great effort, really, Phil. I mean, he's had his moments where he hasn't played well, but 10 goals from a full forward in the first semi is good.
And there it is.
A Crown mobile hydraulic platform gets you up and on the job a lot quicker than scaffolding. And it's safer and more maneuverable than any ladder. In fact, a Crown is ideal for any job up to 14 meters high. Tree lopping, cleaning, electrical, and building applications. And, of course, sign writing. You can hire a Crown or lease from around $16 a day. Call Crown 560-5144.
15 points the difference on the Mitsubishi scoreboard, and if Preston are going to get up, they need a very quick goal, which won't happen with the way James is playing. He puts it out towards the half-forward line. Race for the ball. Cale is leading in the race, but he'll try and keep it back in, but he put it back to his Preston opponent here, who sends it around the wing on the outer side of the ground. Up they go for it. Round is the player in front. He balks back, then goes for the hand pass, gets it across to Sleverson. Sleverson with a further pass into Owen. Owen now tried to get it into the centre. A chance for Salvador. Gets it down to Lamachisi. Lamachisi now has the chance. Can he get it through? He balked and then goes for the kick down here towards the half-forward line. The umpire doesn't pay a mark down here. It's a hand pass from Plowman to Jamie Shaw. Jamie Shaw to Salvador. Salvador across to Bryan, and Bryan has put it through. And that's the quick one they needed to liven up the game. 9 points the difference, and they've been playing 26.5 minutes into the final quarter. What do you think of that, Gary Bryce?
It's probably the best bit of teamwork from the Preston side for about 2.5 quarters. That was magnificent play by the team.
Let's look at it again. Phil Cleary.
Yeah, it was good play. I think Limachisi running with the ball was important. He drew the players out and created a bit of space, and then they teamed very well.
All right, I'll bet... the heart's going there.
Infringement.
with the coach now as it's a free kick to Barry Round in the centre. Barry Round up towards the half-forward line. No one able to get it away, but it's kicked high in the air. It'll come down to Gordon Town, who will take the mark and must just have travelled the distance. They've been playing 27 minutes into the final term as it's kicked wide out towards Carlson. Carlson being tackled out here, but the umpire doesn't apply a penalty. He will now. And the Williamstown player being dragged right back. That's James. And Carlson now comes in with the kick.
And goes to centre half forward. Big finish coming up, and what a game Barry Round's played. Eddie Maguire just whispered in my ear that he's never played in a winning finals team, and I think he's about to, because they lead by 9 points. Brighty, centre wing. Luma Cheesy takes the mark. So 19-9 to 18-6. Luma Cheesy plays on. 2 bounces. Gee's been important, Luma Cheesy, in this last quarter. He's kicked towards Shaw, but he's outnumbered. And fight going on behind play. Not a lot in it at this stage.
Not much.
Oh,
I would like to be under it.
2 Williamstown players together now, Gibbsy. Michele at centre half back. 19-9, 18-6. Can Preston get another goal? 28 minutes. Sate pretty sore there, but he's recovered okay. Michele goes wide towards Rickman, and it's going to be a ball in. Prideaux and Rickman not too happy with one another. Prideaux gives him one. But
I think the umpire thought for one moment of reporting him, but decided, seeing it's the 28-minute mark, he'd give it away.
There's what happened a couple of minutes ago.
And not much in it, says Bruce. Anyway, Sate gets the ball up towards Fotheringham, and Fotheringham, leading deep out into the pocket, has pulled in the mark. Well, he's kicked 7 today. A great effort by Fotheringham at this end of the ground. A very deliberate type of player. He's on an angle, but he's very accurate, as we've seen.
He's kicked 7 goals, but 5 have come from the second half.
Let's see if he can make it his 8th. And there it is. Will follow the ball. As you can see, the camera right behind him, and it's on its way. But it'll swing away and be pushed through for one behind. So that takes Williamstown on to 19-10 on the Mitsubishi scoreboard. They move on to 124, 10 points up on Preston, 18-6, 114. 29 and a half minutes has gone in the last quarter. And there it is, the siren, with Williamstown running out the winners. Williamstown, 19 goals, 10. 124 to Preston's 18 goals, 6. A total of 114. We'll be down in the rooms in a moment with Tony Banks.
Oh, Taylor steals the ball from the pack. Right foot shot. That's another one for the Magpies.
If your home ground needs a general clean-up, call up some Miniskip support. No clean-ups too big or too small for Miniskips, and they're dirt cheap too.
Come on, guys, let's hear it.
4175000. 4175000. Call Miniskips for your next general clean-up.
Right here, back here at the ground, and elated Williamstown side. They've got themselves into the preliminary final. 19-10, 124, defeating Preston, 18 goals, 6, 114. Players are coming off the ground. We're waiting for the Williamstown players to move into the dressing room. So while we're waiting for that to happen, quick comments now from Phil Cleary and also Gary Bryce, as they dive everywhere for microphones at the moment. Gary.
Well, a magnificent game. I thought both sides should be complimented on the effort they put in. Unfortunately for Preston, they made far too many errors, and Williamstown were able to capitalise on them, and I think that it augurs well for them. Augurs well for them for the rest of the final series, and I'm sure that would have given Phil quite a few things to look at in this week's replay.
Yeah, VFA football's great football, Phil. I think it's a shame that the VFL won't leave us alone and leave Sunday to us, because I think the footy is tremendous. Great game, tremendous, and next week will be even better.
All right, we'll be talking with you in a minute. Just while the Williamstown side move in, we're waiting on Tony Banks. Let's take this break.
Right now, you probably think you're looking at nothing. But nothing could be further from the truth. You see, this is really a bubble of nothing. And when bubbles of nothing are mixed with creamy milk chocolate,